Yo, what's up, guys? Whoop, quiet. Had the audio from one of the tabs opened up on the other spot. But welcome. What's up? Happy Friday. How you guys doing? See, Loki's already in the chat. Yes, we do have a pack opening or unboxing. We have that. I have that raring to go. Call of Duty actors from 2010 made zombie Christmas songs I did not know until this week about. And then because of that, you found your favorite Christmas songs now. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Joe is on his way. He's working with apparently a new audio setup. So he will be even more powerful than he was the last time he was on. Now, one would say that when you have a setting and you know you're going on a show, you would take time to fix it before going live. But who does that? I'm just giving Joe shit. But yes, also, in case people may not be aware, it's January 6th. For some, it's any other day, but for others, apparently it was the most traumatic event that has happened ever in the US. Blood ran through the streets. That fateful day where walking into a building, was the worst type of terroristic act. One people, which doesn't make any sense. That some people think. So I, for one, went about my day normally because I'm not a fucking retard. That's just me. And also, I got me some more Jeffers Creek. This stuff is good. It's made by the people who did Buffalo Trace. I've been telling Nick to get it, but I guess he hates me. But really, really good. We are an effed up world. All I can say is that there's some interesting folks out there. And of course, some people who need to be locked away forever or wiped off the face of the earth. But the good Lord will take care of that in due time. But yeah, the plan for tonight, when Joe gets on, we'll just pretty much like we always do, shoot the breeze, maybe talk about some topics that we noticed, and of course do the unboxing. That was a last minute idea on my end, so don't expect anything like spectacular in the sense of like a high quality video or something like that, mostly because I need better equipment. But I think that'll be pretty fun. So pretty much in a nutshell, I pre-ordered this long ago from a place called Limited Run Games, and I don't know what loops do they go through to get permission to put the software in the game and whatnot onto physical media, but this is a place where they'll make limited amount of physical copies of games, and you can pre-order them and then they'll send it to you. And mine finally came in, but that will also be part of the review because I think the wait time of it is ridiculously stupid. But we'll go over that later on during the show. Do you know Call of Duty actors made Christmas songs? They are good. I read your comment. I didn't know they made them. That's pretty funny. But what do you mean by Call of Duty actors? Like the voice actors from like Nazi zombies, like Steve Bloom and well, I know Steve Bloom. I know Steve Bloom is Tank. Dempsey. I can't remember who the other people are. I want to say the guy who voices Nikolai. I want to say that's the guy who voices Baird in Gears of War. Here, let's look that up. Call of Duty Nazi. It's called the Zombie Christmas. Oh my gosh. I don't know if he's ready. It looks like he is. I'll bring him in here. My goodness, it's a face reveal. It's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, the serial killer himself. Okay, I can't hear you on my end. I got no audio. If you need to like yeah, you can Joe's here, so we'll let him finesse offline. But yeah, I was looking up the Nazi zombie. Let's see, actors. If Joe can hear me, I know. Oh, dear. I know Melon in the past was a little finicky when it comes to recognizing audio. So hopefully that can get sorted. I know with Melon, if you click the little mic down below, you should be able to select which ones you want. And you have headphones on, you might want to turn off echo cancellation. You're going to be wearing headphones. Hopefully that'll possibly solve it. Let's see. Call of Duty, Nazi zombies. Chaos Smash says I had to restart the damn page. Did you now? Did you? Well, you didn't miss much. Right now we're looking up because it's been a while for the Call of Duty.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Can you hear me clearly, or do I need to like talk louder? How's it coming through to you?
You're fine on my end. I just cranked up the speakers on my end.
All right, good. It's just, obviously we can't tell till we've done this and kind of got things locked down a few times on where things are really at. So yeah, I think I'm good to go now. Yeah,
okay,
I think
cool.
I just had to reset the which mic to go through. Actually, in Melon, like you said, it instantly did the job.
Oh, did it fix it? Good, because beforehand, like my mics were being a bitch to solve. So
nothing's easy, even when it's easy.
I know,
you know what
right?
I mean?
Loki says you sound good.
But do I look good?
I think you do. It's the first time I've seen, well, aside from seeing you at Anime Matsuri, it's the first time I've seen a face reveal. Look at that luscious hair.
Yeah, I haven't been like camera on a show, and I don't know, probably a few months. It's been a while.
Oh yeah.
So
like in general, like on other shows.
Because I'll show it. Like depends on what I'm doing. Like if I'm trying to work, I'll typically keep the camera off just to, I don't know, just keep stress levels down so I can kind of focus and talk at the same time. But there's other times where it's like, if you're in a show with a lot of people at the same time, it really helps the more people's faces you can see, because it gives you some body language to prompt when to speak. And that's one advantage I've had to like, where it's good to like show my face and let me be able to see everyone else. Like it benefits all of us.
Well, like I said, you do what's comfortable for you. So, but that's tight that you got a new audio setup. Like you got a new mic.
Yeah, actually, Yellow Flash hooked me up with this mic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he got
Yeti?
it for me. Yeah, Blue Yeti. I think it was one of his, like, the one he used to own, and he just didn't need it any longer, so he hooked me up on that and got me a free mic. And
yeah, Blue Yetis are still pretty solid.
Yeah,
I would refer to it kind of like as a beginner's mic, but they're actually like really damn good for for
like all
USB.
all the stuff I have is like in the realm of like PA mics. You know, I
Hmm.
don't have things hooked up to any of my computers to allow like a PA plug-in because I just don't like. I have a recording system I use if I want to
Hmm.
play music or something like that, where it's got all that input and the drive and everything built in. So I don't really cross over my computers with that because it's just
Hmm.
like I need these things to be able to allow me to color a file that's like 100 megabytes.
Yeah.
Like it stresses them out. So like there's literally I got one computer here that I'm actually
Hmm.
on with you with. I've got another one right in front of me that's rigged up to a laptop up here that's all separate from each other that allows me to color and work comfortably without
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
you know
I've heard the
stressing
arguments
one
for
thing
both.
out. Yeah.
I've heard the arguments for both sides. Some people will always swear by analog audio, and it's like, you need the XLR or the X. I always reverse it, XLR mics and the soundboard and stuff, which I do have. Actually, I need to contact a friend of mine because I think he has an old mic that he doesn't use anymore that's XLR, and how
Yeah.
to upgrade that. But I mean, USB is getting so good now. Like the one I still use is an old it's a Shure PG32, and it
Yeah.
was one of the unique ones that had a built-in pad switch, so it was kind of like a little soundboard kind of built in to fix all that. But everything's changing now to where that in a way can kind of become a hindrance because it's built in, so you can't it's like flip a couple switches, but if everything's so advanced now, it's like, do you even need that turned on anymore?
Well,
But
there's a whole new world now of people that use microphones that have nothing to do with music. Probably more, at this point in this age of YouTube and Twitch and locals and all these other different places where you can do shows and stream at. So, um,
I boosted the
yeah, it's
audio
interesting.
on your end a little bit, but it could just be, I mean, if you're kind of away from your mic, it makes sense
Let
to
me
do
bring it a
so.
little closer to myself. That will probably
Yeah,
help.
that actually, like right there, sounded like
Good.
good. So it's probably just your position. But I mean,
Okay.
if you have it set up for like the first time, obviously you got to find that sweet spot. So not a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Great. Hey, this is what I'm looking for. Like I tested it out last night too in like a private stream with
Hmm.
some friends, and they said it sounded good, but I also ended up having to kind of move things out of my way to adjust later. So I
Hmm.
lost all those little
Oh,
fine points where I was like, man, I don't know. Was it over here?
here's a tip for all you voiceover people. The good
Yep.
proper mic distance is if you hold your hand up and go like that. That's the perfect mic distance.
He's right.
Pretty much, yeah. What if it's like, well, what if you got like gigantic hands? It's like, well, I don't. It's like I don't fucking know. Look, I can't answer every question.
Yeah, yeah. The guy's not a miracle worker. He's just a nearly miracle worker. It's still
Chaos
pretty close.
bitch boy. He said he had to restart the page, and then he said, and then I made a comment, and he said, "I did. You got a problem with that, bitch boy?" Very man, right out the
Oh
gate.
shit!
Why so much
So
hatred?
aggressive.
I
Oh my
know.
goodness.
Chaos also says, so this is what the serial killer looks like. He doesn't look strong at all. What the hell? Look, yeah, look at that. That is a guy who looks like he can wrestle alligators or own an alligator farm. I think that's what what we looked up on Wikipedia said he
Dude,
did or something
I
like
could
that.
chase down a chimpanzee with a knife. Just take a whole village of them out. They're just
Oh,
gross animals.
oh, hey, Alfarius, what's up? Finally caught alive? Yeah, nice. That's one of the things that always bothers me. I try my best to be as constant as possible, but you know, life is life. And he says, Joe, were you on Flashcast last week? Heard there was a massive blowout between Flash and Lofty and Flash Bandit. I actually watched that. I saw that part of the show. I thought that was pretty funny.
No, I mean I could have went on, but I was around a lot of like family and stuff for New Year's things, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to like. I don't know. I'm just real. I don't like any family members getting caught on video or being on streams.
Oh,
I'm
no.
already in a position where it doesn't matter for me because I've already my face has been on the internet for like 12, 14 years now since like there was at least a MySpace or things like that. There's something out there. So,
Have
and
you?
I've owned businesses, so my name, my address, like all that information's like even corporately available at this point.
Hmm.
So personally, I don't really worry about myself, but I have to be
Yeah.
a
Have you
little
ever
more
like
on it with them.
sat back and just thought about like, man, I should have just not like when I did my interview or when I did my game streaming, I should have just played the game and commented over it, not have the camera. But I
There
know
are
I
times,
sometimes get like that. It's like, man, I should have just made like a good avatar and just commented because that would have been enough.
yeah. I mean, there are times where it's like the internet. It's what makes it great, also makes it suck. It just depends on
Yeah.
how it's used. Like anything else in this world, it's just a tool, and it's about how you use it. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the trouble of it is worthwhile and people seeing you, and sometimes it's not. And
Mm-hmm.
I think at a point where it's too late to go back, like we just have to kind of roll with it. Like some
Yeah.
people want anonymity when like their shit's already out there, and it's like, guy, at this point, you just got to move on from that. I know it sucks, but you know,
Yeah.
people have to get on with their life nonetheless. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it seems like Lottie is getting to the point of being hated more. I heard with that whole thing is that, I mean, Flash pretty much stated like he was starting to ask questions about the family members and the kids, and that's a no discussion topic sort of thing.
yeah.
And
Well,
you
here's the
know,
thing with Lofty, because I know Lofty like in real life, know him.
well, and I
Um,
don't think he banned him. He just because he said later, I just kicked him out. He could have rejoined whenever he wanted, but
yeah, it's they basically get along. It's just even people that get along can get a little heated every once in a while. It's not indicative of
well, it
who they
sounded like
are as
Flash
human beings all the
was
time.
drinking.
But he, well, probably everybody was. You know, it is what I was. I
No,
just wasn't on the show, thank God.
no,
But
that's not true. No one drinks on the show. It's not a lawyer that would do that publicly.
but like I don't think like super ill of Lofty because I know Lofty, and I think like he's just one of those people when he feels like he's being misrepresented or misunderstood, he gets defensive really quickly. And
Hmm.
it's like in a certain context, I think we can all understand that. It's just there's lines at the same time where you have to know what different people what those lines are, and it's not a bad thing. It's not like it's like, oh, I have to walk on eggshells all the time. No, just there's general lines in this world that you leave alone for the sake of the other people, and on your own time feel free to cross them. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
There's things I would never say on your show for the sake of I wouldn't want it to hurt your show because it is something where it could be damaging to a person's channel if I wanted to be ultimate edge lord and just dream up the most terrible things in human existence to
Hmm.
say, you know. So
The worst thing would be calling me bald, but
oh, that's I would never do
chaos
such a
is
thing. You think I
chaos
want to
is me
get
living
eaten
on
by
that edge.
bears over here? You want bears to come charging through my house and slaughter me for God? Ripping on your hair? Good Lord.
Oh, see, even
No
right now,
thanks.
bald. My gosh. But how was your? I guess we'll do a little catch up. How was your holidays? Pretty good. Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah, yeah, I'd say overall it was like 99% good. I'd say like Monday Monday to through today has been pretty much complete horseshit.
Mm.
And I know it's just like sports, and people will kind of chuckle at that, but I have to watch people get upset about things they enjoy getting fucked with.
I did
24 hours
notice.
a day for the last 6 years straight in every circle I'm in. I have one or two things left in life I enjoy that don't involve just like my wife and kids. That's it. And when it's getting fucked with, it's like okay, but this is why you guys will not have this thing later in life because you ruined it. So
I did notice you were
yeah.
a tad upset. It seemed on Twitter with the
Oh,
constant.
extremely, dude. And that was I was doing everything in my power to hold back. You don't know how many times I deleted before I hit send. Probably 15 or 20 times today. It's
Yeah,
just
you
like
were.
backspace.
I saw a constant email this person. Here's the number for this.
Yeah, yeah. Call NFL
Un-
headquarters. Let Roger
Unfortunately, that
Goodell
just
know
went
he's a
over.
motherfucker, and I hate Roger Goodell. And that guy is one of the most slimiest pieces of shit in all of the NFL and has no business in that position.
I'll tell you what's not slimy. Jeffers Creek, made by the people of Buffalo Trace. Hopefully now they can give me money
And liquor.
and liquor. True. Yeah, the unfortunate. I'm like, oh, Joe must be really upset because I'm like seeing this on so many different responses, but like that stuff to me is like way over my head. I don't know anything about it.
Well, here's the thing. A young man had a tragic accident on the field, and we are all extremely sympathetic
Hmm.
because it is like, yeah, football is entertainment. We are paying to watch these guys brutalize each other.
Is that
It's part of the
him,
game.
Himil, or
Yeah, yeah,
oh, that was
um,
based on. I saw that. I didn't like put the two together. Okay.
yeah. And I was there that night, and I'm at every home game for Cincinnati, and what what frustrated people was that we all understood and were respectful of the situation and lived with the fact that um, between us and the Bills fans, which fuck most of them anyways, but the Bills fans as well, um, they had spent, they were all in from out of town. 20% of that audience was
Hmm.
Bills fans that paid insane money for a second sales ticket because you can almost only get a ticket if you're either on a waiting list and one just comes up, or if the other seller wants to cough it up, which there are people that just buy tickets to resell them. They have no intention of showing
Oh
up.
yeah, scalpers.
Um, and it's big money. So and this was the biggest game of the NFL season, the entire season. It had all this play, and you had people spending $800, $600 for a ticket in a medium level spot, which is triple what the season ticket holders pay for these things. So imagine that. Season tickets are pricey. They're nothing compared to that aftermarket numbers. Those are insane.
Hmm.
Um, and those people were paying 385 plus a night for hotels. Every downtown hotel raked its rates up from that weekend all the way through the Tuesday, so you could not get anything within the realm of reason. If you had to fly here or drive here, you're talking gas money and plane. You're already in the thousands of dollars. It's
Oh
absolutely
man.
insane. So literally a stadium with almost 70K people in it. It's not even built for that capacity. They just sold so much standing space that you could buy a standing seat for like $600. It's insane.
I.
And
Oh man.
and after you buy food and drinks and everything else you need, people were probably spending $3, 4, $5,000 on these trips, depending on where they were coming from. Mostly
Hmm.
Buffalo, probably. Um, and even if you're a Bengals fan, you're probably already in it for 1,000. Just for that day, maybe the next day following, whatever that's going to involve to get back home,
Yeah,
or what
beer and the
your
condiments and
situation
stuff are
is.
triple the price.
Yeah. Tall boys of Budweiser are about like $11 a piece, which is actually cheap compared to some stadiums. You
I'll
know,
take your
a
word on that. That's just
yeah,
insane.
yeah. So it's but it's fun. That's the catch. Is they give you a
Yeah.
high value of entertainment and a high level of fun, and we all accepted that got taken away from nearly 70K people.
Hmm.
We said that's fine. This young man is hurt. He clearly, it wasn't like a dirty hit or something like that. Just something happened in his body at the wrong moment, in the wrong place, at the wrong time.
Hmm.
And so then, after all this transpires, and Cincinnati fans take the high road, and we don't really bring up the situation a whole lot in terms of what it will affect our outcome of our team, um, and we stay classy. Then the NFL comes down and says, no, we're going to change the rules last minute, rules that have been set in stone for quite some time now. They're not day one rules, but they've been around for a while. Um, probably 20 years, on how you deal with situations where something super strange happens that causes a game to get canceled, where it's just unplayable. They totally ignored those, changed those, and said, here's what's going to happen. Instead, even though you're division winners and that guarantees you a home game, if you lose this next regular season game, we're going to coin flip toss whether you get your home game or not. That doesn't even make sense. That's just intentionally put there to fuck with us. And then they said they would play the AFC Championship game, the game right before the Super Bowl. It would be put in a neutral site, where if they would have just determined a winner for this game or played this game somehow, we could easily place everybody just the old-fashioned normal way it was already set up. That's the thing. All of this is really preventable, and there's simple solutions. And the NFL has dreamt up the weirdest solutions that favor only two other teams and only disfavor us. It literally favors
Okay, I get it.
everyone in the playoffs except the one team no one wants to deal with, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals, because we're absolute monsters. So
So super sus,
that's
yeah.
that's why I'm frustrated, because this city went out of its way
I see a
to
kitty.
be super. Yeah, fuck that cat. I hate it. Um, the we went out of our way for this team, for this guy, in every way possible. Drove his charity from like $3,000 up to $7 million. Drove, we're at the hospital every day, trying to get any word on what was going on with the fans outside of the place. Cincinnati fans. T. Higgins sitting at that hospital for 2-3 days off and on, but nearly the full days until he had to go to work. Uh, Coaches from our team going in. The Bills were on the plane an hour after this fucking happened, back home. They were out of their clothes within 15 minutes of it happening, changing their gear.
Mm.
These guys were on the practice field tonight. They were too emotionally distraught to finish a game, but they were perfectly fine fucking 10 hours later.
So was it
It's
all?
just insulting. And then they didn't show up for us when this came down from the NFL. They could have
Mm,
stepped in and said, us as an organization knows that this is totally fucked up. It's
mm,
fucked up for us because our dude had a serious issue on the field, and it was disturbing for people to see because 70,000 people had to see it, plus two teams. But they didn't show up for us. We showed up for them in every
mm.
capacity possible. We showed up for that team and those guys, and we don't even know them. They're just another team.
Wow.
And this is what we get in return. We get nothing for our kindness. Not that we expected something, but it would have been nice for these pricks to show up too. So no, I have zero respect for the Bills organization. I feel bad for that poor kid in the hospital because it's not his fault any of this happened. Thank God he's doing better, and
Mm-hmm.
he's responding, and his brain seems to be fine. So
And,
he'll probably still have a good long life ahead of him, and
and
we
natural immunity kicked in.
yeah. Oh, dude, the city prayed him back to health overnight.
Power of
Everybody
prayer,
was
man.
praying for that guy.
People
Everyone was
people make
was
fun of it, but there you
yeah.
go.
So it's just that's
Wow.
that's why I'm upset, because I care about one thing, one or two things in this world at this point outside of wife and kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's I want to enjoy football because I love it, and it costs me a lot of money to enjoy,
That's
and I
true.
don't appreciate guys that I'm paying that for trying to step in and mess with it worse year after year after year. It is frustrating, it's irritating, and I've seen it ruin every industry I enjoy to this point. Outside of my own comics and my friends' stuff, don't care about comics. Outside of Generation 1 Transformers, don't care about Transformers. Outside of, I'm very strict on what I care about anymore, and even those things I barely care about at this
You
point.
got to nowadays. I keep
Dude, I'm
thinking
just gonna
that's
become a Jordan collector. I'm just gonna sell off all my junk and just collect Jordans. At least the shoes are pretty. At least that's something.
I hear
Bring me
you.
some joy, some artsy looking shoes from the 80s.
Is that a is that a cap like right above your head, like right behind you?
Yeah, that's a Bengals hat right there. And there's
Oh,
another one
okay.
right below it.
Okay, you want to I have Eva on the mind because I immediately just assumed that could have been the Lilith mask.
Ugh. Dude, I had Ava on the mind too, actually, when we were back and forth talking about
Oh,
just ideas for the show or stuff like that. I literally got
hold on.
frustrated and turned on Ava.
I've got something for you. Here, hold on. All right, so I showed people my Neon Genesis Evangelion t-shirt with Garfield as the main
Yeah.
theme. Probably like one of my favorite ones. Please tell me I grabbed. Okay, my roommate also got me another shirt for Christmas. Yeah, this one's more classic, but we've got the t-shirt with like the manga
Dude,
style
it's so
drawings.
cool. Yeah. It's so pretty. Like that's right out of one of the art books type
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Like, and it's like the materials kind of has like this aged kind of look to it, so it looks
Hmm.
like, like you got it back in like the 90s and stuff like that. So cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. The I like the Garfield one too a lot, just
Oh, the
because it's like
Garfield one's my favorite. I
I
was
would have
like,
never thought of it. That's why I like it so much. I'm like, it's so funny because it's Garfield and Evangelion. Like, can you just imagine him just like hanging out, being lazy AF in the
oh,
middle of
dude.
like that show if he was a character instead of like Pin? If Garfield just hung out at like HQ, like Nerve, like
Yeah.
mini castle, and was just always sitting there like, this is boring.
Yeah,
Shinshi's such a nerd,
just give me a piece of cake.
Yeah,
Alfaria
lasagna and
says
cake.
3 things you don't do with Flash. One, ask personal questions. True. I mean,
Hmm.
to an extent, but yeah, if you tell people like like don't even bring up wife or kids or anything like that, then
If you're
yeah,
gonna ask
understandable.
personal questions, just do it in private.
Yeah. Don't get in the way of his cash. And I agree. Don't point out the
Yeah.
fact he can make more on Rumble and not cuck for YouTube. He gets really upset. Hey man, at the end of the day, when it comes down to, I know people really want, or I mean, nowadays too, people want to push back against all the insanity by saying, well, like YouTube is cuck, so, I'm going to, strictly Rumble and all that stuff. I can
Yeah.
understand of wanting to do that. I understand that. I ultimately try to look at it as I'll exploit the shit out of everything and get money whatever way I can until they fuck me
Hmm.
over, and then it's done, sort of thing. So that's kind of how I look at it too, because it really is. It's that argument, or that it's that point that I'm sure that we brought up before, and my friend Eric's brought up before. But sometimes you have to be on the battlefield of the enemy's turf, to rumble around too.
Well, and
Until
nobody really leaves until they have to.
yeah,
So like,
exactly.
there's kind of no option but to adjust if you want to survive. So like, it's nothing against anyone because that totally makes sense. I'd
Hmm.
still, if I had the time to do more videos, yeah, I'd surely just put them up wherever I could gain
Hmm.
traction from them. Who cares? It's
Hmm.
you take advantage of the platform in the best ways that you can. It's not like it's a negative connotation of taking advantage. It's just
No,
I'm
and
going
it's
to
also
use this too to reach the people over here because they may not know what's over there, and
mhm,
vice versa.
exactly, and it's also funny just to make fun of the enemy when you're on the enemy turf, because you're like, I don't care, like you're just gonna do the thing, and then it's like, okay, well, fuck you then, and probably, and they'll, a lot of times that gives you even more traction, like it's with Nick being banned and then being
Hmm.
signing exclusively to Rumble, YouTube, and he had the stats to prove that he gave YouTube a lot of exposure, but
Oh,
they
it was
cared more
insane.
about,
Yeah.
yeah, they cared more about making some retarded political point. I do it, chaos. Oh, you do it. You do because you make fun of me. You make fun of me because I love you, and I do it to see if I can pop a blood vessel. I used to be very angry back in the day, but now, thanks to the good Lord helping me with patience, still helping me. Never. Here's one thing: never pray for the Lord to give you patience, because He will most certainly will help you get patience, and He will do that by testing you, by testing your patience. So, kind of a little joke, but hey, what's up,
I
Oni Link? Never forget July 6th, Sleepy Joe. Yes, cheers to you, Joe Biden. Have a wonderful and blessed January 6th. Um, I know for me, the haunting images of the blood running through the streets and walking through blood and bone still haunts me to this day of that terrible event. But yeah. Also, all I can say is January 6th.
We're gonna go to hell.
God bless you, Norm. Oh man,
Yes,
I wish.
God bless Norm. I think he's in heaven, flying with the angels, just having a blast, being a hoot.
Finding out some people that used to machinimate, smash, and hollow videos, what they're like nowadays, has really got me down the past couple of days. You know, in a weird way, to tie in with that, that's something that's unfortunately what social media has done is it gives you, it's a two-edged sword, because it gives you, like with Twitter, for example, it gives you the ability to talk to people that you enjoy their craft or work and whatnot, and it makes it in a way easier to connect with them, or at least hopefully try to make some sort of contact with. Where back in the day, it was like, you know, if it was an actor, the beginning of the internet, you would type in, how do I contact, like, I remember, how do I contact Jim Carrey? And they were like, here's an address. And some people would be like, yeah, I confirm it's good and stuff. Was it really him? I don't know. But, you know, I got his autograph, which maybe it was like his agency or what have you, and I got lucky or something like that. I don't know. Nowadays, you can just go on their social media platform and see what's up. The downside is, well, depending on who it is, you might actually get to see what their true colors are, because you know, it's that it's, you know, there's a saying that Eric said it and I've said it too. It's, be careful if you want to, like, who you follow. Like, be careful when you follow the people that influence you, because you might be disappointed about if you find out. Because you have the two people that are truly genuine, and they can be assholes and weirdos and insane people, or they can be fake and still like piss you off and stuff, but behind closed doors it's like, oh yeah, I'm really this, but you know, I don't want to face the, and it's like, well, then you're just a coward, sort of thing, or what have you. So,
well, dude, I've gotten to a point where I almost don't want to. Like, I'll occasionally even trim down my like people I like that are in the realm of celebrity that I follow, just so that I don't have to have them irritate me anymore. It's like, I want to be able to enjoy you a little bit, so I'm just gonna stop while we're ahead.
yeah, exactly.
Just mute your account and just remember the things I like about you, and not let this enter my mind any longer.
Keanu Reeves is my favorite actor, mostly because he stays out of the limelight, and you don't see him say anyone say anything bad about him, because he's an actual genuine person, at least from what I can tell.
Yeah, I honestly think Twitter has hurt anyone with status far more than the average man, even though, like, average people can get kicked off way easier and have no way to get their shit back if they really didn't do anything. Like, they just won't, no one will care. They'll fall low on the priority list. But, celebrities have just exposed themselves to the max.
I was gonna say,
like, 6
I
or
think
7
in a
years,
weird way, it's like, again, it's that double-edged sword, like sword.
Sword.
A sword. I'll take swords for 100.
Yeah.
But no, you hit the nail on the head. And in a way, I would almost say in the end, like, I think I kind of do thank Twitter, because it truly did show, like, who the insane people is. And if you really got down to it, Twitter doesn't make up, like, nearly as much as what you say, as what you, like, if what is in the world. So if you're seeing some guy saying, like, is woke and whatnot, and they have all these hearts and stuff like that, in the end, if you really looked at the numbers compared to, like, the world or what most people think, it's not a big deal, and it's hilarious.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. What are the U.S. numbers on Twitter? Isn't it something like 5 million 10 million people, probably
Yeah,
more than
it's-
that, but still, it's something like less than a tenth of the
Yeah,
population.
exactly. And it's just because Twitter, it's its own world that you trick yourself into thinking that little world is the entire world, and it's totally not true. Because the random person, if some woke person went up to him and said this, they'd say, "Get the fuck out of my face, or I'm gonna hit you," sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I hope. Chaos says, "I hope Joe and Kamala get kidnapped by cartel." Whoa, my goodness.
Look, me and Camelot would regulate the cartel. I would punch him, and then he would bend him over. We would just totally demoralize
Oh my
these dudes
gosh.
overnight. They would
Camelot
wish
would
they
do
were in
something
federal
like that.
prison after me and Cam were down there. And say, please put us in prison. It's got to be less excruciating than getting Alabama manned all night long, right after getting our faces turned to dust.
The Oni Link says the insurrectionists respecting the velvet rope still trigger me.
Triggered, yeah. It's goddamn insurrectionist.
Yeah, it was the most terrifying insurrection I ever saw when when those barricades were pushed away so people could go in by security people. That was pretty scary.
Sometimes I think like the average liberal that buys that, because I know at least a few where it really doesn't even matter. Like they don't bring it up. It doesn't even cross their minds really at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, news cycle speed, all that kind of stuff. But it's like just no one takes it seriously. And it's funny watching these people be in a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week cycle of always pretending to care about things they don't care about, or be over emotional about things they're not truly like. It's like, aren't you exhausted? Aren't you sick of pretending to be a good person because you're probably a pedophile?
Well, they probably
all these
brainwash
years.
themselves. They probably
like they
brainwash
do. It's
themselves to
yeah.
think that they're legitimately true. But that's going to be even more sweet when the good Lord comes back and reveals their sin to them, and the face will melt like from the Ark of the Covenant. Denzel Washington is Chaos's favorite actor. Denzel's a good guy. He seems pretty solid. Keith Sunderland. Yeah. I've heard he's a socialist. Yeah. Again, I don't.
But does he piss on the American people 24 hours a day? does he call Mid-America trash all the time? Yeah, Sean Penn's the worst, but he's like an extreme case. Like,
yeah,
he's ever since he was young, before Twitter or any of this stuff existed, everyone knew he was a little off. So, ever since I was a kid, he was known for being violent on movie sets, too aggressive, saying it was just because it was part of the role, things like that. Where it's like,
oh, that's the most bullshitty thing. I hate it when actors use that excuse for method acting. I think there's an extent of understanding how your character thinks, but when people say I'm a method actor, like, you can go fuck yourself, because to me it's like, you don't need to go that extreme. You don't need to know what it feels like to be this. You can do enough research by kind of guessing, you know?
Like, I think Daniel Day-Lewis is like the only guy where we look past it and say, all right, because he's probably the most convincing actor I've ever seen, like, in terms of like a mainstream person. But even with him, you know, it's too much. You're like, dude, you're convincing, but you're essentially like the same character in almost every movie still.
Well, it's
so
I like William Dafoe because he says he's the method actor, but like, I mean, he method acted when he was Paul Smecker from the Boondock Saints, and I would absolutely love to have been like in a social setting with him still being in character, because Paul Smecker's hilariously gay and I just laugh at it. But like, for me it's like, what's his name, the guy who plays the Joker in the Suicide Squads? He got a big thing where he sent like people, like, what was it, dead animals or like used condom or something. Yeah, something bullshit. Yeah,
he's been messed up in the head for years too. Yeah. Like Jared Leto, he's such a weirdo. People don't even know how bad it is. It's like,
oh, dude. Oh my gosh. I did not expect this, because I look at my phone and I got nothing. No response, no nothing. But ladies and gentlemen, my boy Eric is here.
Hello,
what's up, Eric?
Y'all?
What is up, dude?
Not too
You
much.
said nothing.
Today?
Nothing.
I know. I just got off the phone with somebody else I was talking to. I'm sort of in recording mode over here, and I don't know how to put the audio into my headset volume. So maybe I gotta hold on. I gotta fix this here. Bear with me a moment. Technical
Chaos.
difficulty.
Oh my shit, Eric makes his appearance. He does. Dude, awesome seeing you, brother.
You as well. You as well, John. Nice to see you, sir.
How you doing, Eric?
Man, I am overworked and exhausted, but I'm doing okay. We are way too overbooked with audiobooks and trying to tackle all that in conjunction with working a regular 40-hour gig. It feels like I've kind of taken my poor little brain out of my head and just placed it to the side, and it's just being accosted by pins and tacks and acid. Some days I don't know if I'm coming or going.
He's like, I need some hard drugs because I have to read books for a living, and it's really hard to stay awake in this warm room reading books all day. I'm getting pissed off now because I haven't slept. It's like a chain reaction of things.
I've just been abusing caffeine, abusing it, and
yeah,
it's starting to take its toll finally. It doesn't help that my little guy has almost the entire last week was waking up at either 2 or 4 in the morning, and then he was just up. It's like, oh well, I guess we'll start my day right now. And
there must be something in the air because my 4-year-old's been doing the exact same thing for like the last 2 or 3 days now. Just 2:30, 3 a.m. Just come out of the room whining, and I'm like, what are you whining about? Like, I'm instantly irritated. It's like, I've literally given you 14 hours of my life just now.
Right.
Like, give me a break, kiddo. Daddy's got other shit to do in a day.
Chaos says, glad you're here, Eric. Greg bores me to death, and Joe makes me want to jump out the window. And yet you still come back.
Yes.
You still come back.
Yes. Hey, I'm glad to be here for however brief I may be here.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I sent you the link, and, you know, if you could make it, you can make it. If you couldn't, you couldn't. It's all good. All good in the hood.
So what's
Link says, it's Eric, my favorite Boreman voice from How Not to Summon a Demon Lord.
Yes, right. So when I walked in to do that role, the director says, "Hey Eric, how's your demon voice?" I was like, "Oh, it's feeling strong today." He's like, "All right, you're playing this guy. Perfect. Bring him on."
Amazing.
Finish the session. He goes,
how that works in the background.
Yeah, right. I finished the session. He goes, "You know, I think we found a new wheelhouse for you." I'm like, "Hey, you know, don't hesitate to book. I'll take the work."
But you had wrong thing.
I did. I dared to call it the Chinese coronavirus, and I dared to show a video of some doctors recommending the use of hydroxychloroquine, which is now recommended, and ivermectin, which is now recommended. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought?
Oh, Joe, I meant to ask, is that thing on your hand to, like, not smear, like, your pencil markings or stuff like that?
It's not to smear the tablet that I'm coloring on in front of me.
Oh, okay.
It just keeps, like, your something so that you're not getting, like, nasty hand marks all over everything.
Oh,
so, you know, all of us artists take a lot of caffeine pills, and it makes us clammy and shaky, and then we start smudging and dirtying things up. So...
It's kind of reminiscent, too, of that dude from Meet Joe Young, or Mighty Joe Young, where he's got his finger bitten off and he wears that little black leather finger kind of glove, which just clips around his thumb. Shaking with his left hand for the rest of his days.
I told my wife when I was getting all this stuff out and setting it up recently, I was like, I don't even like wearing this thing. It makes me feel stupid. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. It just looks queer. I don't like it. But it keeps my screen clean, so I'm going to roll with it.
This is my gauntlet to take off and walk down Artist Alley when I'm at C2E2 and be like, here, nerd, step to this.
It's like when you see dudes in fingerless gloves, like, too much. You know what I mean? Like, where it's just a part of their daily life now. It's not like something they do for fun.
Yeah, and they're
like,
not
I just wear these all the time. It's like...
Yeah.
But fingerless, you're not Eddie Van Halen. Take off the fingerless gloves. You look like
and they're not even like a mailman who's got the little mittens that cover, but they need to be able to roll that back so they can handle letters without getting ink all over the soft, delicate pads.
My poor buddy Phil Diaz is out there just cringing right now because he loves fingerless gloves. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm never giving that dude work again."
It's like, look, man, if I had finger socks, I'd wear those too, just as long as they had an open toe at the end for my little nub to stick out.
Well, how was your Christmas and New Year's, Eric?
You know what? Christmas, it was nice. It was very low key. We were snowed in with like 1.5 feet of snow.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
awful.
Christmas Eve driving home is the first time since leaving Illinois where I've had to drive through those whiteout conditions where you just gotta stop your car and just sit and wait till you have 10 feet of clearance to be able to see again. I missed my turn for my road and I drove probably 20 minutes past. I'm like, none of this looks familiar. And then I see this sign for this boat launch. I'm like, oh no, I have gone way too far. Oh, I had to turn around.
Oh gosh, it sounds
Had
awful.
to sort of off-road because a plow was coming from the other direction. It's a whole mess.
I was gonna ask you, do they plow and salt in New
Oh
York?
yeah, plow and salt heavily. It's not quite like living in Nashville where they had only enough salt for one day and then everybody else was just SOL for the remainder of that week. But beyond the snow, Christmas was really nice. It was a nice time just pigging out with family, enjoying the occasional libation, watching Christian open presents. He still doesn't fully understand what's going on. He was just very excited that his cousin Lakeland was there and there was music and ripping open boxes and stuff like that. I tell you what, he was so far overstimulated by the end of that day. He got his little bottle of milk the other night. He was just pointing up the stairs like, take me up there, all right? Put me to bed, I'm done.
That's adorable.
Kids crash hard on Christmas Day because they've already been like pounding cookies and eating food and just running nonstop. They're opening stuff that you're happy for them, but you're a little sad they don't care as much as they should. But all the hard work mommy and daddy had to do to get them all this stupid shit, and then they eventually at the end of the day wear themselves out and they just instantly go to sleep, and it is a blessing. And it's like, oh my god, they're sucking the life out of me. Thank God I love them with all my heart and soul. This is too, like, I tell people a lot of times when they're younger, I'm like, this is why you have kids in your 20s. Because, like, I'm 40, and I started at 36, and my kids just literally brutalize me 24 hours a day. And I know if I was still, like, 20, 25, like, I could hang with them little monsters, but, like, dude, they chew me up and spit me out by like 10 a.m. And that's only 2 hours like into the day at that point. I'm just like, oh my god, y'all. I'll literally say that sometimes. I'll be like, you're killing daddy. You got to calm down for like 5 minutes and just let me catch my breath, little ones. You're so high energy constantly. And I'm like, remind yourself when you were a kid. Take a deep breath.
It's funny because like I'm a pretty physically strong dude, lift a lot of weights and do a lot of activity like that. So I know, not to humble brag here, but I'll pick my little dude up and I'm like, whoa, slam him down on the couch or throw him onto the bed or something like that. My wife's over here like, don't break him, please, be careful with the child. And I try and wear him down. Sometimes though, if he's in one of those moods where he can't focus on anything for more than 30 seconds, because he's usually pretty good about sitting down with a toy or something and like he'll just zone in for half an hour. But if he's in that mood where he just can't handle it, man, it's just he's ping-ponging around the house. I'm like, hey, how about we play a rousing game if everybody shuts up and takes a nap for the rest of the day? How about we play that game?
And when they stop needing naps and you know that, it's like, no, they're just gonna stay up later if I let them have naps any longer. That's like that sweet spot in the day you've lost. And you know you've lost it, and it takes like a week to accept, but eventually it's like those 2 hours of peace are gone.
Oh man,
like, this kid doesn't, they're getting too old for this. They don't need a nap in the middle of the day anymore. My 2-year-old still does, but I can even tell with her, like, she's getting to a point where it just makes her not want to go to bed till like 10.
Sure.
The 2 to 4 naps just turning into a curse later in the day. So.
Yeah, we have to get old T-Bird up after about an hour and 20. Otherwise, he just does not want to go down at night. And it's funny because where our recording booth is, we're in the basement, so we're below the kitchen. So if people are up and moving about, it's very hard to record because that vibration carries down through the studs in here. And if he's up, he's running back and forth through the kitchen and through the living room all day. So you can really only record in the hours of 5 to 6 in the morning, 1:30 to 3 in the afternoon when he takes his nap, or right now from 9 to 12 o'clock when I get home from work.
Kids literally sound like they're breaking everything in the house when you're below them.
Oh,
It is strange how all they're doing is running. They're
Sounds
really
like a
not
herd of
doing
turtles
anything
up
too
there.
insane. Yeah, it sounds like someone's literally smashing everything you own. If you're below them at any time, like in a base, I'm in a basement now. You know, like the upstairs is what the wife and kids own. That's theirs. I have a hole.
this
down
is
in
your
the
hovel
corner.
down here underground.
Yeah, I've got the plumbing and the ventilation and all that shit, the dehumidifiers.
Gosh.
But
How was
it's
your Christmas,
fine.
Greg?
Gay. No, it was good.
Super gay.
Super gay. No, it was good.
My
A
uncle
little
gave me a
different.
strap on. Not sure what to think of that.
I got
It's
a
like,
bag full of cucumbers. I don't even. I'm not a vegetarian. I don't like this.
Greg, there's things in life you keep to yourself, my dude.
Mhm.
You say it was great. That's it. That's all you. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I opened up and I got a gimp that was in a box, and I was like, "Oh man, what am I gonna do with this? I don't have enough time to take care of it."
Yeah, so I
No.
punched him and let him hang himself in a basement.
Oh,
Have to feed and water the gimp. Ugh.
I actually remember reading an article that Tarantino actually answered and declared that the gimp actually did die. Because I think someone actually asked, "Is he okay?" And he's like, "Well, no, because he got knocked out and the collar was kind of tight when Zed like latched him up and stuff like that, and like, yeah, he pretty much auto asphyxiated himself, and it was like he's dead." I was like, wow, I'm glad at least Tarantino
Clear
confirmed
that up for us. Good.
that the poor Gimp, some guy that we'll never know, unfortunately died by the hands of Butch.
It was a tribute to his good friend David Carradine.
Oh,
More of a predecessing point, but still, you know.
True.
It inspired him to finish the tale. Add more detail, more clarity.
This is how the night would have ended.
Mine was good. It was just definitely one of those things, and it has started to slowly appear every holiday season that those traditions that you grew up with, unfortunately, are not there anymore. Just because the people that you always saw during the holidays are either gone or they're slowly deteriorating away.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, you definitely try to build up new traditions with the younger, you know, my nieces and stuff. I got to hang out with my nieces for pretty much a lot of the time, so it was a lot of, you know, and the folks were like, well, we're sorry you couldn't like you kept running around the whole time. It's like, that's fine, like I'm glad I got to see my nieces. That's perfectly fine. And
Greg's like, I'm sitting at the kids' table. It's tradition. Grandma would have not put up with this horse shit. I can really get here.
Oh,
well,
well,
yeah, it's like what you said, Eric. It's just the enjoyment of seeing the younger generations just be happy about it, and you're like, yeah, this is where I can replace the traditions I grew up with, you know, it's more, you know, as you get older, it's more about the joy of seeing other people being happy than it is about you like getting whatever, like something you want or something like that. Because at this point, it's like I can just go and buy it myself, or
Well, and
like
this-
I'm not, or it's like it's at the point where it's like I don't even want to ask you for like a gift card. Like if you want to give me money or something, like you don't even need to wrap it up. Like just be like, here you go, and it's like, okay, cool, or something like that.
Well, and there's a lot to be said too about if you don't see the traditions being kept alive, being that person in your family who's like, you know what, all right, I'll start the new one. I will come up with the next thing that we can all cleave to and get it going. Usually it's the matriarchs of the family that are like, all right, well, we're gonna do it my sister's house on Christmas Eve, and then my place on Christmas Day, and then it's up in the air for New Year's. But that's where I want to eventually get to, is having that house that everybody will congregate at, and whether we all go out sledding after dinner and, you know, find some huge hill, followed up by Coco and carols in the park, I don't know what it'll be, but I definitely want to forge some new traditions.
Uh-oh. Alfari says, y'all see Crunchyroll got caught censoring already censored anime? Some show with gender swap. No.
Didn't see
I
that.
do not give a crap about Crunchyroll anymore. I do not care. Because they're not there to appropriately represent anime.
No, the soul's gone. The
soul's
soul
gone.
of anime in the United States, as pervade through Crunchyroll, is gone. Completely gone. That soul is dead. And it's really, really sad because, like, since working there at Funimation, since getting the boot, I've not had any desire to sit down and watch an anime. I haven't felt any enjoyment watching an anime in so long. Notwithstanding Evangelion Rebuild, the final one, I very much enjoyed that. But that kills me because I used to really, really get into some of these plots. Like, Greg, you introduced me to Steins Gate. I love shows.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love shows like Fully Cooley. Love shows like even Kikaider, some of the weird odd ones that not everybody knows, and you get so wrapped up into it. But even now, you look at the shows, and every freaking show is an isekai. Can we stop with this? Oh, I'm summoned to a different world, and here's the catch. Oh, I put all my points into defense. Oh, here's the catch. I'm terrified of losing, so let me just overpower myself. Here's the catch. Now the only way that I can fight is if I pray to God before I take out this amazing gun of mine and blow people clear away. It's like, okay, we get it. Somebody dies, they go somewhere else, they're a god in that realm, or they get summoned by some random person inside this world where apparently we all have heads-up displays. That's just commonplace in your day-to-day life. You know, you take it away and you're watching your little level. Just, like Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
Well, and it's because, and again, like actually Joe and I were talking about this before you joined, Eric. It's definitely technology and social media very much playing into a part of it. And we were talking about how when it's a double-edged sword, to where, like, I was talking, like, back when you wanted to talk, like, maybe try to find your favorite actor or what have you, you would go on the beginning of the internet and all you could find was an address. And it's like, if you want to send them a letter, maybe you'll get something back, maybe you won't. Now it's this person's official, it's on Twitter, but you either A, find out who they really are and they're scummy, or they're scummy online but then act differently, like if you somehow find them like behind the scenes and they act differently and they're fake. Chris
Rager's a prime example of that.
Wait, what?
I said Chris Rager's a prime example of that. And I've spent time with the guy in classes and such, and you know, tremendous individual to spend time with, just one-on-one or in a class setting, uproarious and obnoxious online to a concerning level. And it's like, man, if you want to keep your heroes, don't ever follow them on social media, because you will be sadly and severely disappointed.
Well, it's definitely that thought that everyone asks is this how you truly are as a person? Because when your beliefs affect your work to where the work goes, okay, we're now going to change our whole structure to accommodate for just an X small amount of people, it doesn't benefit anyone.
No, it doesn't. It's like, look, the work either has to stand on its own or it doesn't. If you have to shoehorn it in to please this small clutch of marginalized individuals, the work has lost its soul, completely lost its soul. And when you got writers there that are afraid to use the word peon, like they edited the word peon, said by Frieza, it's like, blah, 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 you peons. They edited that word because that was somehow in some bygone era, a vestige of a bygone era, used in a derogatory fashion to refer to somebody who was either super impoverished or at one point a slave. And it's like, oh no, we can't have people checking us on this whole slave bandwagon, even though more people are now in slavery the world over than have ever been at any other point. But because of the population of the earth, Slavery is at the lowest percentage that it's ever been in. Oh no, God forbid, we use the vernacular of a villain. We let a villain be a villain. We can't even do that. No, let's fix it. People are too
Why would
soft.
Frieza have a problem with it?
Yeah, right? Like
wouldn't.
he blew
That's
up a whole
100
GD planet with his
Yeah.
finger. Like, who does he care? What does he care that you're upset at him saying Pia?
Well,
Yeah, if anything, he's being nice. That's like
Yeah,
a
right?
compliment from Frieza because he's a little tranny psychopath. He's like, Wild Bill from fucking, the Lamb movie. But, he's like a super powered alien version of the same character.
Yeah.
And we love him
Emotional
still.
skin.
That's the thing. He's a villain that's like Darth Vader. He is so surprisingly tough for like a small, effeminate character that you grow to respect him because like it's not a negative. It's actually one of those only the Japanese can make it work kind of things. Like, yeah, they can figure out how to give you a vicious character that's the least expected of who you would think would be capable of such things by like a real life standpoint. So it's I no one should be upset about that. Frieza should be saying the most terrible things ever uttered by a creature ever. Like that's totally within the realm of his character.
Seriously.
Alfarius says this is why it's morally correct to pirate then buy the Japanese blue DVD. The sad thing is if you want it at its rawest form, that's what's going to happen because translators are going to find it and they're going to translate it for you. It's like the same thing with video games. It's gonna get to the point where you might have to resort to modders and like the hacking community to undo the bullshit that that the censorship is doing, just to even remotely like get an understanding of what the original like story is to get across. Because these people think that they need to do God's work and protect you from people who aren't even truly fans, whether it's gamers, anime people, or stuff like that, from people who had just hijacked it and said, this is cool. What's even going to be cooler is when I become this person that shows we need to step this in this direction. This is, we need to do this.
Yeah, they're trying to answer a question that was never asked. Like, recently you have Resident Evil 4 got released.
I'm going to be right back.
All right. Resident Evil 4 got re-released, but for VR, for Oculus Quest, and for whatever your VR platform is. And they decided to censor it, and they decided to sort of retcon some of the actual dialogue in it. And it was like, dude, okay, apart from some wet blanket who's sitting there on your board of directors going, I wonder how this will be received when the guy says, the president has equipped his daughter with ballistics. Like, oh yeah, we can't have people hearing that because they'll objectify this young girl with D's and wearing a very low cut skirt. We can't have that, especially not in this zombie game where we're not even really killing zombies. We're killing people that are akin to cows here. We're killing sentient things. Yeah, let's take out the one comment that'll really inflame and hurt people's sensitivities. It's like nobody was asking for that. Nobody in the fan community of this game was like, hey, can we censor the bejesus out of Resident Evil 4? Can we change the dialogue here? I have a really, really hard time with any kind of sexual innuendo in my games unless it's expressly written into the title. You need to make a game that's just called hentai, and then we'll be fine with it.
Then they censor hentai.
Dude, it's freaking insane, man. Like the fact
they call it consent. They changed it.
Yeah.
We're like, that's kind of implied still, but
dude,
right, whatever.
And like, here's another thing. On top of all the social justice pandering that so many of these places do, you look at the rap sheet of shows that Funimation has dubbed or that they have a working hand in, and now Crunchyroll that has taken over. You look at these shows, and how many shows have a super handsy main guy character? How many of these shows just have, oh shit, my tits just flopped out for no reason, and now all the guys are super on about it? How many of these shows are completely built around the female anatomy somehow having a superhuman effect on dudes like High School DxD. Like, how many of these shows are built around that? And here you are trying to claim some sort of moral high ground in the entertainment biz. It's like, no. If that was really your shtick, you would have gone back to the 80s and found Superbook and just solely stuck to dubbing that. And then maybe Flying House, maybe the Bible as told by Anime Jesus with his sundari eyes. Maybe that's what you would have stuck to. But no, you didn't.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but I was gonna, that was something I was gonna get to, wanting to say as well. It's, if you would go back in time and talk to these people and say, do you morally agree with this? I guarantee you they would say, oh, I don't care, it's fine.
Dude, okay,
sort of thing.
how did
Because
you and I find out about so many shows? It was like,
these people
we pirated it.
These people did not think this way back in the 90s when they were dubbing this crap. They did not think of it, and I will call BS on them 10 times, out of 10, because they did. Because these people act like I just can't contain anymore. It's like, oh, so you're saying that you put up with this for 22 years? You didn't speak out or anything about that?
No, I just collected a paycheck and I sat on my hands. And like, to be clear, I'm not one for just wanton piracy. I'm not one for like, oh, I'm gonna steal all that I can. I'm gonna hide it away in my coffers and one day I'll revisit it. No, like, if I can find a website that's streaming, yeah, absolutely, I will watch whatever animated show that I feel like watching, because like, I'm definitely not stealing it unless you consider what enters my eyes me somehow thieving off of a company that put together some horrendously graphic and vulgar show. But at the same time, how many shows did you and I, or even John, how many shows, animated shows or anime in general, were we made aware of because somebody put it up on a site like Kiss Anime, or they put it up on a site like Full Anime Fights, or some other streaming network? There are so many titles out there that people have been cosplaying and falling in love with, and then going on to buy the DVDs or the Blu-rays of, that they found out through somebody else's efforts.
There's literally been games, because it was pirated, made it over, and they actually made it available, and it became a huge success. Like, these people can't. Ugh.
Yeah.
The only reason I knew about Berserk was because I had seen it here and there back in the day, but never really gave it a fair shake. So it was just, even in the early days of anime, you were kind of flooded with a lot of stuff between anime and manga at one time, especially in the late 90s when it got like accessible in malls and video stores and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But when I finally got a hold of Berserk, it was because I found it online and was like, you know what, this is something I've been hearing like great things about for years now. I just need to check this out because some of the imagery looks so insane. And I read every inch of that online, and then now I own like a couple $100 worth of Berserk books.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, is they don't want to admit it, but there's been studies, and they found the people who pirated stuff are more than likely the people who then go out and actually buy the official merchandise. It's been proven.
The Japanese have
100%.
a real hang up with copyright, and I don't even want to say copyright, with just rules. And I don't blame them for that. I think it's helped keep their society somewhat structured and kept people somewhat polite and courteous. But at the same time, they are zoned in so hard on paperwork and even your handwriting on a form not being up to par and being like, no bank loan for you, like, just because your L looked funny. Like, it gets too nitpicky to a point where they will not comprehend. Like, there's nothing in their genetics that allows them to comprehend this thing being free here and there for the people that actually go out and try to find it. It only helps you. And you've seen that. You've seen the results and the numbers, but you ignore it because of your unwillingness to understand that just because your rule is being broken does not mean it's not benefiting you.
Yeah,
like, it's strange. New Japan's terrible about it. They have flagged every person on YouTube that covers them, and you can see it, plus COVID, with a direct decline in their product here in the States, and with people still keeping subscriptions to their service, people that would have never dreamed of abandoning that company because they love it so much here in the States,
Mhm.
are now just like, dude, if you're gonna flag my channels down just for using a photo. Like, it got to a point where people would just use a photo of like their logo or of a wrestler's face to be like, okay, I'm just gonna describe the match to you. We can't use even like 10-second clips anymore or nothing because New Japan this started a couple years back and it's done nothing but negatively impact their
Yeah.
company, and Japan won't even let them hold shows at full capacity for 3 years now.
Isn't that
So it's like,
crazy?
stop hurting yourself. Let us help you.
Yeah, it's
Like,
so
we love you.
crazy.
Let us help you.
You
Yeah.
look on YouTube, and now when you even upload a video on YouTube, you can give the option for people to clip your show. It's like, okay, do you want to throw it up here and expect that people aren't going to want to be able to gush over it? Do you want to put this up on here and expect that people aren't going to desire to share with others what they're really into? It's like when Greg has done some of his reaction videos where he might be watching a show or a movie or something like that and giving sort of like a picture of what's going on here. That's definitely transformative for sure. And
Yeah.
especially if it's like a fandom or it's a series that you've been with since the very beginning, and you're like, ooh, this is a new iteration. We haven't seen anything in 10 years on this. What's this going to be like? Like, there's part of you that's very much invested inside that. And it's fun to be able to share that. But again, it goes back to the discovery that so many of us made of a lot of these different subcategories of entertainment that we otherwise would not have had access to. Because anime is still, if you look up the Blu-ray prices, it's still quite pricey to just buy a series on DVD. I remember ordering anime from a website called Anime Crazy, spelt with a K.
Yep, I remember that.
I think when I bought
We're crazy.
Dude,
Right.
you could buy domestic or import, and you could choose, if you want it to be in English or if you wanted it to be in Japanese or both. And every single series on there was so expensive. I didn't have roughly $70 to spend on each of the original 3 Fooly Cooly DVDs, which only had 2 episodes apiece. I didn't have that money to just go and do that. I finally was able to just buy the full box set, all 6 episodes of that, on Anime Crazy. But it was at such a premium, and with good reason, because they were putting out gold for the longest time. But even them, overworked as they are inside this shame-driven culture, there's a reason why there is such high graphic and sexual content inside their entertainment spheres, is because you have so many dudes that are so repressed from this. It is literally bleeding out in their art. And as a result of that, you have carbon copy after carbon copy after carbon copy of show that are all derivative, have no soul, very little direction, only typically go to about 1 season, and that's just to try and drum up manga sales. It's like they're just phoning it in now. That golden age is so over.
Even what you described earlier when you first came on about the repetitive nature, just from the way the shows are set up, to the stories, to the way the characters speak, it's all RPG speak. Japanese shows might as well be binary at this point, and just speaking ones and zeros, because that's like, maybe it's not as obvious in their language. I don't know what the difference would be, because I've had people explain to me, like, here's issues with you trying to sell your comic book to these people with a literal translation. You're not speaking in a, like, these characters don't say things in a way that will make a Japanese person care about them. So you have to use generic stuff like the waves of the water and still my life to make me feel like when you're doing an ocean scene, instead of a character just simply saying the storm's looking bad out here, we better take cover, or something like simple. Like, every character has to give like a soliloquy for like why they feel a certain way, and I'm just like, I will take your word for it because you are a Japanese native, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, I got to focus on what's at hand. But still, just for the future, like, I was like, that is strange. Like, there is things that I didn't think about even going into this, that guys like yourselves have probably already kind of crossed those bridges just by default of the industries you've been involved in. But for me, it's like that never even crossed my mind to try to phrase everything in a 300-page book in a way that would make a Japanese person give a shit, because just this artwork
Dude.
ain't gonna impress them. They get pummeled with amazing artists, guys I can't compete with. So, it's I've got to try to make that writing shine through to them somehow as well too, because it's kind of all I've got left if I'm going to cater to people that speak in RPG all the time.
And what Joe is referring to is his manga or graphic novel, Death, 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 that you can find on Indiegogo. Right there.
Yes, we're
And this
closing
bad
in
boy
on
is at
80K.
79,682, roughly 400 away from breaking to 80K. So if you guys haven't already, feel free to check it out. And if you like what you see, give them a support. Already over 15,000 backers. That's awesome. Or sorry, USD, but 1,000 backers already.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
my dyslexia kicked in there, but
Dude, it's fine. It's cool. Yes, 15,000 backers. Let's make it 30.
yes,
We'll just roll with it. I mean, this is the misinformation age.
You're right.
If fucking everyone else in creation can just run their mouth about things they have no clue about, there's no reason I can't just make things up as well. I am an
We have a
artist
million
after
backers
all.
right now. We have so many backers, it'll make your
Yeah.
head spin. So many backers. I said to him, I said, look, we're going to get these backers. I don't know where they're going to come from. I'm not sure. But we're going to have 50 million.
Mexico will pay for the backers. We'll make backer NFTs.
We're going to
We'll make-
outsource it to China.
Yeah.
China's going to give us the rest of the backers. But they're all coming.
but
you know
there
how funny
go.
that would be? China's going to give us the rest of the backers.
Oh gosh.
Really? The
We're even
Chinese
going to tap
people?
Ukraine. We sent them a bunch of money so that they could buy cryptocurrency and give it to the Democrats. They're going to back us. They're going to back us after this.
But there you go. Joe's information
That's
is
going to be
in
my
the
next
description.
trailer. Just Eric fucking Trump shitting people for like 45 minutes
Oh, yeah.
straight. Like on like a Conan O'Brien thing where it's just a face. With
Right?
like the moving mouth cut out.
Oh, those were
Yeah.
good. Those
Oh,
were
man.
good. But Joe's information is in the description. Also check him out on Twitter because certain pages that are not obviously just shown as a preview on Indiegogo sometimes get shown on Joe's Twitter. I think he recently showed a new color one or a preview of one that's now colored.
Yeah, it's I'm getting like loose ends wrapped up and finishing like there's probably about like 20 pages that are either still need like 90% colored or I have like the file kind of like halfway there. Like I just need to finish out like my highlights and lowlights and just get her done. But that was one of those ones where I was like sifting through, looking at stuff, trying to reorganize and make sure I had all my ducks in a row. Like you go through phases where it's like I'm too overworked to even try to keep things in order, so I'm just going to keep saving under like the original file name, and then eventually you get all these weird giant file names that say like IMG 2347891. Like it's ridiculous for a TIFF file, so I have to periodically go through, renumber, reletter, check the script, see if things are still lining up, because I may have made a change and forgot to show that change, in the actual words applied to things, so I know what I'm looking at without having to click on every page and overanalyze if it's in order correctly. So going through that, I was just like, these pages are pretty. I'll go ahead and share one. I should have shared it earlier because it's very Christmassy in terms of color, even though that wasn't really intentional. I was like, this would have been a total Christmas spirit image, even though, like, once people really know what's going on in it, they're not going to feel that way the slightest. But it's got the right glow. It's got the Christmas glow, even though you're kind of subtly getting to witness something terrible.
Right.
So,
Oh, before I forget, you were mentioning something before about the difference in translation and sort of what we term as common vernacular and what the Japanese would term as like, hey, this is standard for us. And so directing in anime, a lot of times if the translators who were doing the scripting didn't have something quite right or didn't fit however many mouth flaps we had, we'd have to rewrite it. And so you would try to stay as close as possible to what was there. And they would often include notes on the side there to say, hey, into the Japanese, it said this here. And so I'd be like, okay, let me think of one of my $4 words here that can fit that little space and make it say. And then there were times when you would get a show that maybe it was a very whimsical show. Like, I finished out directing the show Hatana Illusion, which I don't know if it's going to get a second season, but the show itself was it was just a very fun show. It was cute. There was a magical element to it. It was just, and the acting was fantastic all around. Well, I think it was the last episode of the show. There's a moment where the two leads in the show,
Just spoiling everything.
well, yeah, spoiler alert if you haven't had time in the last 4 years to watch the show. But there's his name is Makoto, and then there's Hatana, the two main characters, and they're stealing this specific artifact that has some kind of magical property to it. And they break into the room where all these guards are, and the Japanese, she hollers out some command, and her special artifact is this scarf. The scarf's name is it's named Findabear, but she calls it Muffy. It's this yellow scarf, and it can take different forms, like almost like in
Muffy.
Muffy the scarf. It can take forms almost like the show Magi, where those giant blue fists come out of that little flute and wail away. Muffy can kind of do that. Well, I'm watching this scene unfold here, and there's the guards on either side of this central figure, and he's like, you're never gonna take this thing from me. And then she yells this command. The scarf turns into two giant fists, and they lunge forward, they cross, and they grab the henchman and slam them into opposite sides of the walls across from each other in this room. And they're like, we're taking the thing you said we couldn't take. And I was looking at this scene, and the scripting just wasn't fitting that little chunk of lines there. I'm trying to, like, all right, how do I make this fit? And there's not enough flaps to do this. And so I'm looking at this thing, and I'm looking at these characters, and there are a couple of hands here. And so I'm rewriting this script, and my actress, she can see, it was actually Skylar McIntosh. She's watching me delete the words on this Google Doc file, and the character is like, Muffy, and then there's like a mouth opens, and so I type in Muffy snuggle struggle, and so she thought that was just the best. So she's Muffy snuggle struggle, and these two hands fly out, and bam, they hug these dudes to death just about. But I have no idea if somebody in Japan will watch that and be like, oh no, he did not change the dialogue. Now I'm going to find him and slay him in his sleep. I have no idea if somebody's going to be like that, or if they're going to be like, 1,000 soldiers have died in your honor this day as a fantastic run. Good job on you. No idea what's going to happen.
Him the rope. You're like, these dudes are serious.
But they installed a net around the building for when he throw himself off. At this shame he bring upon him.
Redefine the print of a contract.
Shit. Snuggle struggle. I've heard it used in skin flick.
But my arms are too short. But it's something completely different, Eric, than trying to fit something that actually does kind of apply to the scene than just completely changing the entire lines.
Yeah, and shoehorning some political crap in there.
Yeah, political stuff. A lot of comments that I was keeping an eye on stuff. Alfarius says 2000s was peak anime with VOs who care. They're all doing video games now. Yeah, I have very little respect for any more voice actors aside from like Eric, Vic, and like mostly the people who know just to keep their mouth shut, even if they're politically different or stuff, like, you know, Laura Bailey or Travis Willingham, but you know, they hardly speak about any sort of stuff. But yeah, Only Links has been watching Monster Girl Doctor, a good show. And then Chaos says Chris Rager, the guy that was Hercule, also called Vera Dark a cunt. Yeah, that was a bitch move to do when his face looks like one. So, but that's just me. Frieza is strongest femboy. To me, Frieza's Frieza's the guy. Only Link says, I turn around and Greg has been isekai. Yes, I turned into a bathroom. That's what happened. Alfaria says, I'm really surprised these people even deal with anything Japanese, given how degenerate their media is and how socially conservative their people tend to be. It's the antithesis of CR or funny employees. Exactly. If you hate it so much, why are you even in the field? It's
exactly.
Because of that, it's because of that power.
Yep.
Or
it must be so painful for them to go to work every day. Just I'm doing nothing but crush my own soul here.
You'll hear the veterans say, like, believe it or not, it took a long time before we actually got to conventions and we actually started getting noticed and stuff like that. Like, keep in mind, like, the whole getting a voice actor to go to a con and stuff, it's been around for a while, but it's not necessarily it was there back in the day.
It's only really been like the last 10 years that's really become a thing.
And I think that's what plays a part of these people being a bunch of power-hungry knob gobblers, is because they are seeing people who didn't put in as much work as they did instantly getting that that notice right away, who may just be naturally more talent than them, and they're jealous of it. They can't stand that. They can't stand it because it's like, I did all this and blah, 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 so I should be staying on top. Why is this? You know, I guarantee you that's part of it. So, but yeah, it goes to hypocrisy. Everything they say that they're against, they're the cesspool that does it.
Nothing against voice actors, but like I came across anime around like 93, and nobody brought up a voice actor. Until literally around like 2012 to 14, I started to hear that kick up more, just from trying to keep some eye on what was going on in the different industries that, you know, I had comic book shops in, so I was trying to keep up on what was going on all around, or what was popular, or what people were buying or into. So, you know, it was strange. I was like, either I just didn't care enough to know this stuff, or to know enough people on a large scale that were into this, and it's always been this way, or it's newer. So to hear you guys at least kind of back it up, like the last 10 years, it's like that's when I feel like I started hearing the names more and recognizing them more and getting used to that being part of the conversation.
And the true people who actually are sincere, like Vic, I know Vic has stated this, the people actually do appreciate that they can just go out and not be bombarded by people, because it's not like you're, you know, the A-list Hollywood actor to where if you go outside, the paparazzi or whoever are just going to flood to where you are. With these people, they can go around normally, but yet still have that fan base, or those people that actually respect their craft and work and stuff, who may know them, but the chances of it happening are you know, less likely than a Hollywood actor. But now these people are declaring that no, we want to be like this, we want to be like that, but then they get stressed and so sad because all the toxic
at least they can go to the store. My life's like a 1910 play. If I go out in public, people start throwing like cabbage, tomatoes, random. It's like a farmer's market, just clobbering me all at once.
Walk around with a basket and catch dinner for the day.
Yeah, I'm like, guess what, kids? It's veggies again.
It's
gonna be.
Someone threw an egg, but it broke on my face. Sorry.
I'll says Marvel
right in the pan. Yeah.
Nefarious says Marvel shit is massive over there, so is Disney. Cape shit and Disney direct outperform their domestic market by a lot, aside from something like Demon Slayer. Well, I mean, we're seeing Joe should record Eric dressed and talking like Trump to advertise this comic. Do it, Joe, you pussy.
We will see.
But I mean,
it is a good idea.
If we're gonna go with the whole comic like manga thing, manga's beating the crap out of Western comics, and the answer is simple, and they just do not want to admit it, is that woke crap does not sell. No matter how much they try to spin it, no matter how much they're saying no, that's not true, and no matter how much they bully Eric July or you, Joe, or whoever, the indie area is showing that people are tired of the mainstream stuff.
Dude,
and
at least
the formula is so simple. Like, it was so simple. It worked in the past. Why can't you just continue? Well, we got to make it modern times. No, you don't. You don't have to do that. And if you want to, make your own shit. And then they do. And lo and behold, it doesn't sell. And then, well, it's because of flag bombing and all that. It's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, keep complaining about it. Yeah.
No, that's like people that's like doctors and people on the food administration still trying to say that soy is good for people, even though we found so much evidence to the contrary. And they're like, oh, no, it's still good. You're right. If you're dying, you're either getting way too much or way too little. We just haven't found that spot yet. We're pretty sure it'll help you not get cancer. But to your point there, Greg, it's like when you look at a video game goes out to China and they censor the gay shit out of it because they're like, oh, the Chinese, they don't want that inside here. No, the Chinese, I guess entertainment czar over there, they have like 3 stipulations. All right, it's got to be for the boys, keep the beers frosty, make the titties bigger. Like that's their whole shtick, because that's what they've seen just keep working since the very beginning. And like that's why even the manga in Japan, who very much has the same 3 little running lines through all their stories, has maintained from the get-go, is because they were like, all right, we're actually going to make entertainment here, and we're not going to try and push some fierce political agenda unless we write it into the actual fabric of the script that we're following. Like Gundam Wing, it's such a political show, but it's politics for the era that they're in, with characters that are driving that. It's not like they're taking a snapshot of Japan or a snapshot of America and going, yeah, hey, let's capitalize on this here. Let's talk about all the things that never happened during this pandemic as though they did. But it's because they recognize, hey, look, people want to be entertained. The reason why you crack a comic book, the reason why you turn on the television to queue up a show, the reason why you sit down to a movie in a theater with a box of popcorn and a Coke is because you're trying to escape the mundane. You're trying to escape the browbeating that takes place on the daily when you flip on any news outlet. You're trying to escape that for just a small amount of time and enjoy total immersion into something that is made simply to entertain you. And when people can't do that in the States, you watch sales for tickets at movie theaters plummet. You get shows like these ones that Netflix keeps getting crapped all over for. Like that show where they had those little underage girls who were inside this dancing troupe and they're hypersexualizing these little girls. It's like, okay, you're mad the world is not accepting it. You've given us 80-something genders and a little bit of pushback. Obviously, we're the ones that are to blame here. And then you over hypersexualize these youngins here, and you're still worried that we just want to be entertained while not being preached to. Like, if you call yourself even slightly after the old off-the-cuff term for going to the cinema a flick, then maybe you should stick to that. Stick to entertaining people. Like those original purveyors of some of the greatest content out there, like Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, Evangelion, and that's just naming the posters that I see behind Greg right there.
And the Boondock Saints. It's not anime, but it's still
should be. Be.
It's still one of those guerrilla type videos. Alfarius says the only ones I keep up with were Vic, Laura, Travis, and Brina. She's woke AF, but I loved her as Mao and back in 10 OG and Steins Gate. Well, there's a little bit of a trick to know who that can tell you kind of who the down to earth people are, or at least people that even if you may not politically agree with, they'll respect you and you'll respect them. So ones that got out of anime and they don't comment about anything, i.e. Laura and Travis.
Yep.
They're more in the video game
That's
area.
just who I thought of. Yep.
It's more of like the video game era. And they're actors in the end. So I know Laura got a lot of beef from Abby for The Last of Us Part 2. I mean, in the end, that was just her job and her role, and she gave a good performance. You may not like Abby. You may not like Last of Us Part 2. I don't. That doesn't mean my opinion on Laura changes. Or you'll find the people who just don't comment on any of the bullshit. There's the hints that you can tell of the people who are kind of down to base.
Yeah, at least Laura wasn't sitting there, at least to my knowledge, in the studio while doing these lines and being like, no, I'm not going to say this line. I'm going to change it and just go ahead and do it off the cuff here, and you're going to have to use it. Like, here's another anecdote for you. So on that show, Hatena Illusion, I had to direct Damon Mills for a number of sessions. He was one of the lead characters' fathers. He was Hatena's father inside there. Well, I guess like the last kind of third of the show, or maybe this was like second to last episode. I think it was like second to last episode. There's a scene inside there where this femme fatale character, this woman villain, is really just taking the wind out of everybody's sails, and she's making off with this artifact and just about killed people. And
I'm already giddy about this.
She's now about to like unleash some kind of magic thing. I think her actual artifact is like an actual wand, and I want to say that she can freeze things or shoot like ice crystals, if I remember right. But she's about to do this
for every
move.
show you ever do,
dude. No, there are so many shows I find my name on the credits of, and I'm like, that's what this was called. Oh, I thought it was just called four horny boys in a locker room. I never knew that it was called Bow Free or Legend of the Hidden Valley. But anyway, so the scene is this girl. She's like, "Ha! Here comes my move," and then you see the guy that Damon played. His name was Mamoru. You see Mamoru's cane, chopper handed. Oh, I dropped my thing. Now I can't do my move. And the line into the Japanese was something to the effect of, "I typically never hit a woman, but in your case, I'm willing to make an exception." And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, Japan, laying it down. And so Damon took exception to the fact that the line specifically was saying that you're uncomfortable with hitting a gal, but I'm gonna go ahead and rest on my laurels on this one because you're a jerk and I don't like you and you're trying to kill my kids. Like he took exception to the fact that that was what the line indicated, because that's what it said virtually. So he didn't want to say it like that. So I said, well, hey, as I like to stay as close to the original translation as possible. So I said, well, hey, I'll tell you what, let me get it this way because I don't know how the writers are going to want this to be said. So, hey, if you feel uncomfortable with it, I get it, but we're just actors performing the words in this picture. So let me get it this way first, and then I'll rewrite it here, and we can get a second one here. Now, this is when we were recording remotely. So he's recording at his own place, and he's on his own rig. So he has full control over all the things that are being recorded. All he does at the end of the day is send that recorded file over to the editor, and then they input it into the overall project, and then they edit it from there, and they turn things up, turn things down. So Damon's like, okay, yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. So he records the one. I typically refrain from smacking a lady, but in your case, I'm willing to make an exception. And then the line that I wrote out was, I'm not violent by nature, but in your case, I'm going to make an exception. Kind of still gets the same point across, except for the fact that he's saying, look, I don't usually go out of my way to punch a broad square in the face, but I'm about to do you real hard here, sister. So I said, okay, well, we got them both. So go ahead and send all that on
changed
over.
it to die, bitch. Everyone's like, whoa, man, that's more.
I was like, I'm gonna carve your eyes out with a melon baller.
Yeah, you're like, I was watching Dave Chappelle. I just got inspired in the moment.
Yeah, I know. I can think about Daphne, who was a hell of a woman. But anyway, I said to him, I go, okay, cool. We wrapped the session. I said, awesome, great. Well, hey, send all that on over, and you're all set, man. You're wrapped. So session ends. And I'm sitting there later on, I think it was the next day, and my engineer, I'm talking with them, and we're going through the edits of the show here, any little last things that have to be done before it goes on to the actual mix engineer. And then they mix the show, bring all the levels up, adjust the music, add sound effects or effect, whatever is there. And so we get to that scene. And the line that's in place where Mamoru says, I usually wouldn't do such and such. It was the line, I'm typically not violent by nature, but in your case, I'm going to make an exception. And I went, okay, cool. That sounds good. I said, but I want the other one inside there that Damon sent. Why don't you go ahead and throw that one inside there for me? And my engineer goes, there isn't another one. I said, really? There's not another one? And he says, no, there was just this one. I'm like, are you sure? As I told Damon to send both of them. We recorded both of them. He goes, no, there isn't another one. So what Damon did was he was so uncomfortable with this show not being catered to a bunch of feeble-minded little pussies and not having this character possibly be viewed as anything but the most genial person you've ever come in contact with. He didn't even give me the line that I had him recorded, which was closer to the actual translation, which was as close as we could get, given the amount of time and the amount of lip flaps. And instead, he gave me the nerfed line that I wrote out to protect his delicate sensitivities. That's the kind of crap that just destroys this entire community. And in the end, is it such a big deal? No, it's not such a big deal. But if I can remain as true and as honest about the original script as possible, by God, I'm going to do so. And I'm not going to change the lines inside a play, in a TV show, in a movie, because I'm worried about it somehow offending somebody's delicate sensitivities. If the lines were there and it's a villain being villainous and saying something heinous, well, there's a reason why they're called the villain. And there's a reason why they get their head blown open at the end of the show. Let the art be as intended and do not muck around with it.
Another spoiler. You just can't control yourself tonight.
Dude, I can't, man. I can't. I'm hot.
Oh, wait a minute. I know what the problem was. It was
he makes a Sopranos reference and I get offended. Like, here's Tony Soprano once said, and I'm like, whoa, like, whoa. I've been on season 1 for 14 years. Yeah.
Eric, I know what the problem was. It's because he was hitting a woman.
Yes.
If it was a boy, he would have been just fine with it.
Oh, well, yeah. He would have had to have been. I mean, yeah. That's as American as apple pie.
But what if it's a real boy?
Yeah, what a bitch.
Like Pinocchio. Like a wooden real boy. Is that discriminatory?
I'm a real boy, baby.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that is why Gen Fukunaga did not want to be in Funny anymore. Guarantee you.
Think the VA won't take over any... Oh, you just read that?
I guarantee you.
So, but, and another thing too, and this just goes into... We made comments on it so many times. Never gets old. I always get a little chuckle out of it. But this is the thing, is that these people cater to a specific supposed oppressed minority group and try to establish that the heart of anime and stuff is said group.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it, Joe. We talked about it, Eric. We've mentioned it a bunch of times. It's just one portion of anime. Because Japan will try to will do the craziest things. Anime has so much of a volatile range of content and stuff like that. But these people are trying to rewrite anime, manga, and its history by claiming this specific area is the heart and soul of what it was. And it's not true.
Well, you know it's not true because if these people were as into it as they say and had been following it as long as they say, none of this would be shocking or surprise or offend them. Yep. It wouldn't. This only offends noobs that stumbled across something on Twitter or Facebook or some other social media thing where they're like, oh, look, cute anime girl. Then they go click on it and go, oh, they're exploiting this girl just like I did with my eyes before I came over to see what this show was all about. They're the bad guy, not me, even though I only clicked on this because of said cute anime girl. You know, like, it's so silly and generic, and they try to always sugarcoat things where it's like, you don't know about this stuff. You're not into this stuff. You don't even know the history of the bare bone basics. Like, if all someone knows is Studio Ghibli, like, that's awesome. It's one of the best out there. But it's not, it's like normie. You know what I mean? Like, I bet my mom knows at least one or two of those movies, and she's like 60, you know? And that's just from stumbling across it on television, American television. You know, Princess Mononoke on Stars in the middle of a Sunday.
Yeah, right. Or Spirited Away.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone come and take her from me. Love it.
Isn't this those Japanese cartoons you liked? Yeah, Mom. That's the I'm 40, Mom. You can just not even bring it up.
Well, I want to switch over to a little bit of a thing because I don't know how long you guys can stay. I'm down to do whatever. But I did state that I would do kind of a little unboxing thing.
Oh, snap. Yeah, what do you got?
Yes. And funny enough, apparently the company that I got this game from is under some scrutiny. That literally just happened at 4:40 p.m. today. So,
what?
But way back when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge came out, there's a company called Limited Run Games that somehow acquired the permission to make physical copies of it, and I pre-ordered one. And it's called Limited Run Games because there's a limited supply, and I finally just got it. So I figured we'll go ahead and just pop it open and just do a quick little showing of what it is. So Shredder's
Well,
Revenge.
before you do that, I am actually going to have to bounce here. I got to get some recording done on this audiobook. But it has been a blast, gentlemen. Grinding
good
out
seeing you,
the
man.
old days. You as well.
It's great seeing you. You brought some tea when I didn't even ask for it, and you spilt it, and it made me happy.
I know. Feel
But
free to
also,
sip all that.
and as I said to you, Eric, yeah, with I know I saw Vic on a stream. I think on Chrissy Mayer's stream, Anime Matsuri be looking for peeps and stuff like that. So hopefully, Anime Matsuri, if you're listening, good guy, right down there.
I would be honored.
Always
Anyway,
down.
you all have
Emails are open. Yep.
You all have a marvelous night. Happy New Year to everybody here. And
yeah, for sure.
Joe, I cannot wait for that full color version of that book.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I can't wait to get it to you. It's like there's days where it's a real drudge to get through, but every time like one more piece of the overall thing's like finished, you know, it feels worthwhile. So
Eric, before you leave, is there anything you want to plug in before you dip?
Oh, nothing comes to mind off the top of my head. We'll be starting very likely in the near future a Give Send Go. The details of which I can't get into just yet. Not for myself, but it's going to be for another individual.
Okay.
We're going to try like mad to get this person a miracle, as it were. But more details to come on that.
Okay, sounds good. You can catch Eric on Eric Rollon at Twitter, at Eric Rollon on Twitter, Angel Legend, 1L in Angel Legend, and you're on YouTube.
Yep.
Did you start a Rumble?
I did start a Rumble. I need to get the rest of my stuff uploaded there so I can, kind of get all my.
They actually just updated
outlets.
the interface, so it might be a little bit easier.
Oh, okay.
I know on at least the website version, the app probably still needs work. But are you on Odyssey, or is that just your main stuff? Rumble?
Yeah, so right now I'm on Rumble, Locals, and then YouTube.
Locals, that's right. Yeah.
I don't know if I have Odyssey set up yet, but
well, you got 3. So
yeah, lots of stuff in the pipeline and lots of stuff to come.
All right, well, thanks for stopping by, man. I'm glad you were able to hang for a while.
Yeah, same here. You guys have a good night.
You too, brother.
All right, well, that was Eric. Some tea was spilled that made me giddy. Oh man, didn't even expect that. But anyway, yes. So if anyone's ever played, obviously TMNT, Turtles in Time, Shredder's Revenge recaptures that feeling, that nostalgia. You got a combination of it really based on the 80s cartoons, and the game came out I think a year ago. And that's kind of one of the things I'm actually a little bit annoyed with limited run games, because they do not tell you this on the games that you pre-order for a physical copy. You kind of have to go through. You have to search for it in the facts section, but don't expect to get the game like anytime soon. You're looking at like 6 months.
Yeah.
To get a copy of it, which I can understand it, but my thing is if I wanted to play, if I was a big time streamer, like game streamer or something, and I wanted to play the game right then and there, or at least a streamer enough to like get some sort of traction, I would have had to buy it again. But luckily, if you got the Xbox Pass, it was free on the Xbox Pass. But that was a gripe that kind of, I was like, well, at least give like a DLC code or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how that works. But let me see. When did I place that order? I'm actually quite curious. Thank you. Okay, so I placed it in... oh gosh. Where is the date? June 12th, 2022. And I literally just got this game maybe a week ago.
I got
Yeah.
Shredder's Revenge, but I can't remember if I downloaded it or if I bought it.
I mean, it was only digital. Like, you had to go to a
so I
specific
probably
website.
downloaded it.
Yeah, you had to go to a website to
'Cause I
to
think
kinda
I
see it.
got it on Nintendo's website, actually.
Oh,
Like
the
their,
Switch?
yeah.
Well, that is the version I got because it's a pretty neat one. So let's go ahead.
Mhm.
I've got some American brass knuckle knife combo going. So we got that bald eagle.
He's from
Emphasis on-
Texas, you guys. He got that from the cartel. He's just
What's that?
being nice. I said, you're from Texas. We know you got that from the cartel.
This is true. Actually, I think I got this in
They
Chinatown.
call you El Senor Greg, the killer, down there.
I think I got it in Chinatown, actually, back in the day. Back when I was living in Illinois. All right. So they padded it pretty well. So limited run. So it came with this little card, Series 3. Ooh, cool little playing card. We got Donatello.
Oh, that's cool.
So pretty cool. I didn't know it was going to come with that. But this is the reason why I specifically got the Nintendo Switch version, because I think you'll like this. One of it being that I used to love playing all the TMNT games for Nintendo. I actually grew up with the Hyperstone Heist, which is the Turtles in Time Sega Genesis version.
Yeah.
But I have both. But check this out, man.
Oh, that's sweet. It looks like the old VHS.
Yeah, it's like the old VHS. So that what is it, FHS or DEEK?
DEEK. Yeah.
Yeah, DEEK.
Good job, Nintendo. That's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah. So we.
Now, is
it
that
looks
just
like
a Nintendo thing, or did that, if you got a physical copy for other systems, did it come that way?
So if you went to Limited Run Games, that is where you could get a physical copy of it, and you could get the Xbox version, PS4 version, or the Switch version. And the Switch version specifically was designed to be shaped like the VHS.
That's pretty awesome, I gotta admit. And I'm not really big on like things that just are reminiscent of other things I like. Like if I collect a certain toy, it doesn't mean I want a mug or a t-shirt of said toy line. I just like the toys. But yeah, that's something I think I'd probably splurge on a little bit.
I can't. Let's see. Actually, I can. And I'm gonna assume, I'm pretty sure it's a safe bet that the order's done. I don't think you can order these anymore. But who knows? I mean, if you want to
You
check
are
out
SOL till they're like, that made a lot of money, let's do it again.
Yeah. Let's see. So I spent. Yeah, this is the it's called the Classic Edition. Maybe they made it. Yeah, it's called the Classic Edition. 65 for the game, and then you had to pay shipping. So, and then, oh, they taxed me. What a bunch of buttholes. The Richardson City tax. Well, I just doxed myself. So there you go.
You're like, what the fuck is this Richardson City shit? And then you're like, oh, snap.
Whatever.
Oh well.
I'm in Texas. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, dude.
So $76.62 is what I paid for. So not bad. So let's
Don't fuck
pop
with
this
Texas.
open. So very nice. O'Neilling says, "On my way." I've stated before I'm in Texas, so
There's a lot of Texas to look through.
yeah. So have fun. So yeah, that's really cool. It's exactly like, so we've got Shredder's Revenge. There you go. It's shaped like your VHS. You got obviously Nintendo Switch logo on the side to know what you're looking at. I do enjoy the art style. I do really like that art style. It's made by the people, I think, who made Scott Pilgrim versus the World video game. So you have that sprite. I can enjoy all of Texas Jerky. Texas Jerky, man. So if we pop this open, so that was just the sleeve. Oh, nice. Check this out, Joe. So it's literally
Oh hell yeah! It's in a VHS tape.
like a VHS.
That's awesome. They went all out on that, like
They
just to
did.
keep it
That's-
like fun. Yeah.
So very cool. Pop this open. And I think if I remember correctly, there is an actual additional cool little thing that might still be in here. But let's see if we can get it out. All right, so so far, like, packaging's fine. It was bubble wrap just fine. No damages to the shrink wrap or anything. So you got your cover right there. Oh, that's sick. That's cool. Got like a foil case.
Oh yeah, dude.
So it kind of has like that impression. What is that called? A relief. So you got like the relief impression.
Yeah, I'm losing the words. I should know this just from print stuff, but yeah, you are correct.
Oh, this is the
Embossed.
seal book. Okay. I opened it up and there was no game in there, and I was like, "What the fuck?" But this is. Like,
They gave you everything, but
they
the
gave
game.
me everything but the game.
We never
No,
say
but-
you would get a no game.
But here's the actual Nintendo game. Now I gotta open up this too. Ugh.
Nintendo sends you a survey. How did you like your VHS box? You're like, well, thought there'd be a game inside. I'm just saying. Love you guys. You gave me Evangelion, but let's get this fixed. No, you're not running low on chips. I don't want to hear it. I know it's always the goddamn computer chips. You're not using that excuse again. You only had to make 20 of these. Get it together.
Okay. So regular Nintendo Switch case actually does have a reversible sleeve, which, as much as I despise new games nowadays, like not having like the cartridge and the manual and stuff like that, it is kind of cool to see a different art for the sleeve for your case. Okay, this actually has the game in it, and we got some extra goodies tucked away. And this is, oh, if I can get this out, I want to be careful. Now this is what I want to know, Joe, if you remember this. This is, I thought it'd be bigger, but check this out.
Oh hell yeah! the personal pan pizza
The
Pizza
personal
Hut
pan
coupon.
pizza.
I can't believe they thought that deep into it to put that in there. That's awesome.
Oh, and I
If you
probably
can
just,
redeem it, even more awesome.
oh
not that
man,
I would, I'd
I'm
save
gonna have
it.
to order this pizza right away because I literally just showed the code.
Someone's gonna be like, free pizza. Hell
No,
yeah!
whatever.
Thanks, Greg.
Code expires. Oh, okay. I was gonna be like, code expires December 31st. I was like, what the fuck? But it's 2023, so we got a year. So I've got a year to put that code in. Now I'm gonna have to like private the video, get that pizza, and then put it back up, and then be like, code's expired, bitches. Whatever.
If the Japanese really did give a expired coupon as a troll on fat Americans, like that would be absolutely hilarious.
Well, this has also got support from Nickelodeon Tribute, Dotemu, and Limited Run. So,
Yeah, dude, Turtles. Everyone loves Turtles.
can you even still get a personal pan pizza?
I mean, I think so. I haven't ordered Pizza Hut in a long time. All we have is like a shitty carry-out one here, so
Yeah.
it's not that bad. It's just
Technically, I'm on
it's not
keto.
the same anymore.
Oh, I'm on keto still, so I can't even eat this. So, maybe if some poor, unfortunate soul needs it more than me, whatever.
You could
a 5%
surprise
off
somebody
lip-
you know with a pizza.
True. A limited. You want it?
Send it to Eric. I'm sure he's hungry. He's up there recording stuff all day. All he needs is a pan pizza to get him through.
True. I'll send that to him. A 5% off of a limited run forever, so a physical copy of the game. I will not show this one this time around. I will not show that code.
Come on, just show the code. Everyone in your chat, like, just let us see it for a minute.
It's a good thing I'm not. Talk about a boomer, like ultimate boomering. Hey, at least I'm not one of those people that like. They're like, I got my new credit card, and then like straight up show the credit card number. So I'll take showing off a personal pan pizza code then.
Check
Just
it out,
noticed-
y'all. $300 limit on Fuck
Yeah.
it. MasterCard. Next day. Yeah. You owe $300 really quick. You should have showed that.
So we got, looks like some pixel stickers. That's pretty cool. So we got Raph and Leonardo, or Sprite pictures, excuse me. Yeah, we got pretty much all the same turtles. And look at that, we got Splinter and April. Bam. Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool, yeah.
All right, so stickers. And then we actually got an art booklet. So
Really, that's cool. Dude,
So
that game
very-
is have you played it at all yet? Or
yeah,
have
I've
you,
already.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one thing about it in the beginning that I was kind of a little pissed off about, because to me, if you're pre-ordering a physical game and declaring that people will not get the game like until 6 months later, like
Yeah.
if I want to, I should not have to rebuy the game again to play it, like on release day, you know?
At least give you like a $28 discount for
Yeah.
paying for the download too. Because I mean, it wasn't
lucky-
like it was free right out the gate. Like you still had to pay some money up for that shit, even if it's a download. So
luckily, like I said, the Xbox Game Pass had it for free. So I'm gonna put this in the steel case. So not a bad little I think
Oh,
it
no,
was
dude, that's awesome. Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth if you guys are into that sort of stuff, because I've seen like collector's editions, like the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot game, like the collector's edition, or the most expensive one, and like it's like a diorama that's not even that cool looking. So I think this one's definitely a better purchase for sure. So, but my biggest thing was getting the game in the shape of a VHS, because that just brings back the memories. And usually, and it was for nostalgia's sake of, I had all the, all the old school NES games,
Yeah.
and Sega and all that stuff. It was all Nintendo based, so it's like, yeah, might as well get the Nintendo Switch version of it.
Dude, the NES games were so hard. They drove me nuts as a kid. Like,
I
when you're a
beat
kid,
them, but
you'd still
they-
play through them. Like, yeah, you tough it
Oh.
out, but
If there's ever a time where I have no idea what I want to stream and I'm too lazy to decide on like a new game, like I'll just slap on like TMNT, Hyperstone, or Super Nintendo. Cool stuff.
Can't
They
go
gave you a
wrong.
nice set of goodies. Yeah, I think it's definitely a nice set of goodies they incorporated. Uh-oh. This logo doesn't look centered, but that's okay though. I'm not complaining, but I am.
he's like,
no,
string 'em
I
up,
think-
send them out to the death woods. I can't believe this error in Japanese judgment. They're like, actually, the American unit did that. You're like, I don't care. I'm calling it out at the source.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a collector's edition, I think it's a fair price. You got, for me, I think it's worth it, just like I said, for the fact of it looking like a VHS tape. The fact that it recognized the whole Pizza Hut advertisement thing, because I do remember having the Pizza Hut coupon when my parents got me the game. And then of course that just makes me think back in the day of like our school had the reading program.
Yeah, book it. Yeah.
Yep, it had that, and you could get personal pants. So that brings me back a lot of memories. So I think it's a pretty solid game. Actually, a really fun game, a pretty solid limited copy. So, and there you go, Limited Run Games. Good job on the product. However, apparently, people are not happy with you. Because I just saw this happening. Even Flash, Yellow Flash responded.
Oh,
to it.
no.
So apparently, Limited Run Games it's made a statement declaring Limited Run Games respects all personal opinions. However, we remain committed to supporting an inclusive culture. Upon investigating a situation, an employee was terminated. Our goal as a company is to continue to foster a positive and safe environment for everyone. And then Flash said who got fired. And apparently, here's a screenshot of this. Someone named Jeremy S. Gooch. Nice.
We fired Kevin Eastman. You're like, what?
According to this, it's stating J.K. Rowling is tagged in here. Wait, and S. Crowder and Tim Cat. Okay. Just tagging a bunch of people hoping. Well, you got my attention, so good job. So Limited Run Games has done it again. They fired a faithful and hardworking employee to satisfy a few woke people. Started from a person with a history of harassment. Started because she said she was excited about the new HP game. Are you shitting me? The Harry Potter thing somehow turned into Limited Run Games?
So he got fired for being excited about a game? A guy that works in the gaming industry?
Are you shitting me? You're kidding me. I mean, again, this is my first time looking at this. There might be new information.
We just couldn't have him enjoying things he likes. I mean, Harry Potter? That's of the devil. What?
Okay, so that's... See this Instagram post by... I don't care what this... Outbreak, Shades of Horror. I have no idea what that is. So I'm not exactly. So I'm assuming I'm trying to get this straight. So someone who works at Limited Runs Games made a comment saying that they thought that the Harry Potter series looks interested. And then a couple people complained to Limited Run Games about said person, declaring that they're being harmful, and then they fired them from it. That's how I'm reading this.
Yeah. Very strange.
This person's saying they're still looking into the story. That's 3 hours ago.
What a terrible place to work for.
Mods. Hell. Oh my goodness. Hey, Kenshiro. There you go. There you go. That's how I started. That's how I was able to rekindle my interest of watching anime again. I said I should just watch shows that I know are good. So I started watching Fist of the North Star again. All right, so there you go. I don't know if you guys are under hot water or not. I mean, you made a pretty good, solid product, but if you're firing people over someone who just politically disagrees with you, you guys are a bunch of fucking scumbags if that's the case.
Yeah, that's pretty sleazy.
So,
It's
I don't know.
There's lines where you go, I own a company and this person is being far outside of the realm of reasonable and embarrassing my company. You know, say a guy came out and was like excited about like pedo shit or something. You'd be like, no, maybe I can't have you arrested, but I can definitely fire you. Like we all understand there's lines, but when it's stuff that's so trivial and petty and silly as being excited about something that directly relates to the industry you work in, that's ridiculous.
Oh, Alfarius says, click Flash's name might give you an idea. True. Let's see. Well, now we're just gonna... Oh, I saw this. Some guy freaking out because they didn't give him his money. Oh, yeah, that was pretty stupid, too. The whole Joker pregnant thing.
You know, I haven't even looked into it enough to know, like, what the context of it was, but I don't want to know, honestly. It just looks so stupid and ridiculous. It shows you how far DC has fallen and just what a sad shape the big two are in terms of product and story and creators they have there in their editorial department being just useless pieces of garbage.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about Limited Run. I'm not seeing anything anymore. Maybe they have their own thing. Oh, they have a Dead Space Collector's Edition are now limited. I mean, okay.
You're like, thanks, don't care.
Well, I can understand like a digital only game and getting access to it and, you know, flushing out the legal work and being told, hey, yeah, you can go ahead and make a physical copy of this. I can understand that. But when it's Dead Space, you can get a copy anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, to
It's
me,
not
that's
exactly
not that
a rare
special.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you're at that point, you're pretty much paying for the goodies that come with it. So you're paying for, this looks like you're paying for all 3 games, which I heard 3 sucks. And then, yeah, you'll get like a model of Isaac, what is his name? Isaac's helmet that he wears. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't really care.
Since we can't give you something new and entertaining, here's something you used to like. Again, I'm not even opposed to a little bit of nostalgia and giving people just stuff they remember, but when it's like all they rely on,
Only
not that
says
company specifically, but you know, entertainment in general.
You didn't like Joker Preggers? No, because it makes no sense.
Oh, and he wasn't even pregnant. He was just constipated. It was like the South Park episode where
He's gonna have to shit it out
Randy's
somehow.
trying to take the giant shit to set the world record, and they do the whole joke where he like can't go on a plane because he's in his turd trimester. Like, it was just funny, but the Joker thing took it to a new level.
Yeah, the Joker thing, I looked a little bit into it. It's like, what was it? Atomic? It's a mud monster. A mud monster somehow gets him pregnant, and then he shits him out, and then the mud monster forms into his son, which he adopts. I mean, ignoring just on how fucking stupid that sounds, the artwork looks terrible.
Yeah, there's no redeeming qualities here.
Joe, what is going on with the comics where, okay, you know how manga is influenced by Western because Western had, like, you know, the angles, some detail, but, you know, enough detail to showcase what you're showing, but not like super overly detailed. And manga took that and said, we'll make it a little bit even simpler, but still showcase stuff.
Yeah, they basically, now, like, all the entertainment we brought over, they just kind of made their own.
Yeah, but comics now, it's like, to me, it's going the way like that, where everyone is copying the Steven Universe art style, which is so fucking simplistic. You might as well just have shapes dancing around on the on the thing.
It was kind of original and fun when the dude that created like Adventure Time and Over the Garden Wall, when he did it, it's because it was different and it was fresh, and even though it wasn't like technically sound, you didn't care because he gave you like, even though I'm not big on Adventure Time, the people that are, I can tell when they tell me about it, they're passionate about it because it's like a fun, cool story to them. And just watching Over the Garden Wall, like, it's like a fall time thing in our house now. We always watch it, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my all time favorite animated things, and it looks nothing like the other animation I like. And it's sad because it is something that was cool and original, and just got absolutely, the Cal Arts thing just got done to death. And it was basically like a style any no talent hack could do, but when there's not like great stories behind it, it doesn't mean anything, you know. It's just Cal Arts.
That's kind of like how, like, I chalk it up to almost like the cinematic sketches, like the storyboard things, where like, hey, here's the storyboard, now go in and actually make it look good. It's like in comics, here's the storyboard, just ink it, it's fine. And then it's like, but there's like nothing to it, nothing makes them stand out. Everyone just looks like simplistic garbage.
Yeah. Well, they don't care. Here's the thing, you can hire a bunch of generic ass Tumblr artists that just trace figures on Clip Studio that can give you, you know, 48 pages in under 30 days, and it only costs you $20 a page. You know, like, these people literally work for nothing. It's why they complain about being poor and eating cat food and everything else all the time. Because if you work at Marvel and DC anymore, unless you were an established name prior to everything going to hell in a handbag, you ain't making no money.
Somehow,
You're basically a poor piece of shit, and you're just trying to pretend you enjoy your life when you're miserable.
somehow I'm not on Dan Slott's ban list. I've weaseled out. I've noticed I've been avoiding a lot of the ban lists that a lot of these people are getting on. I don't know how I'm doing it,
It depends on who you follow.
but
He'll
I'm more
ban
than positive
everyone.
I follow enough people that give them shit.
Do you follow EVS, Ethan
Yep.
Van Sciver? That was his first big Blockbot person.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe he just narrowed it down. I haven't looked to see if I was. I just have been for so long. I didn't bother.
I'm gonna have to come in hot. He said something stupid, and I was like, "Well, you're fat."
Well, he is.
I didn't post that, but I wanted to. Yeah,
he's
I'm
a fat
still
retard in every form of the word. He's not good at his job. He never has been. It's just because he's always been there. It's like the guy's first gig was writing Beavis and Butthead comics. Like he was never renowned. How he ever got the gigs that he does have is beyond me. I don't understand it. His name's not associated with big sales. It's not associated with any huge storyline that just blew people's minds. Like there's guys like Mark Waid, absolute scumbag, like top tier leftist comic book scumbag. Like everything wrong with comics encompassed into one disgusting, slimy human being. But at least he wrote stories like we remember and we care about. Like he was capable of doing something that left some positive idea in your mind, even if you can't stand him as a human. And 2016 to now, Dan Slott doesn't even have that. There's no. I'll put it to you this way: we all know you can be kind of shitty if you give people something that will redeem you in their eyes, even if it's just entertainment. It's the reason people in Hollywood have been allowed to run wild and be drug abusing pedophiles, because we're like, we can't prove it, even though we're pretty sure it's probably true, but you give us some good entertainment, so until we have a reason to think otherwise, we're just going to enjoy it. Dan Slott has none of that.
Because they worship demons, so they're getting away with it.
I agree.
Only says confirmed. McCarthy is 0 for 14 by 1 vote. Oh gosh, amazing.
Our political system. I mean, I get it's always been corrupt. It's always been a mess. Long before I was born, and it will probably be long after I'm gone. But we're just seeing levels of dysfunction that are utterly epic on ways I've just never imagined prior.
Until the good Lord comes.
It's
gonna get worse.
Get here quick, dude. I don't care who you got to take out, Jesus. Show up. Start cleaning house.
O'Neilling says he was mad. Good.
Yeah, good. He's a piece of shit. He's a useless rhino. We're tired of it. We've had enough of them. I generally don't get like super duper into politics like with people, even though I have my opinions. But it's like, no one trusts this guy. Literally, no rational person trusts McCarthy. Well, we do the old McCarthy because he turned out to be right about everything. He was base as fuck. But this new one, nah. Kevin, go fuck off, Kevin. You ain't even legit McCarthy.
Well, this is something, and Joe, I don't know like how much longer you want to stay on.
I'll just go till whenever you're done.
Okay. I mean, we're almost 2.5 hours.
Okay.
In, so I mean, I'm down with whatever. I'll let you know, or you can just let me know.
Right on.
So this was something that I saw that's making the rounds that we can kind of comment on, and I don't know if you've ever played any of it, Joe, but once again, we're having another thing based on the wordings and stuff like that. So big thing being talked about is Silent Hill 2, the remake, which to me it's the same thing like with Metal Gear Solid 1. Why don't they remake those? But I understand Silent Hill 2 is the most favorite out of pretty much the entire Silent Hill franchise.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're remaking it by claiming I think it's, what is it, Blooper Team, I think is who's doing it. the Blooper Studio or whatever. Niche Gamer says they're claiming that they're aiming to make it to be faithful, but is going to adjust the scare factor for quote contemporary audiences. So there's the big red flag statement right there. Contemporary.
Who are
audiences.
contemporary audiences though? Are contemporary audiences a bunch of pussy ass nerds?
Well, it's like what we
God.
said. These people were never fans. The people who they're claiming they're catering to are not fans. They never were, and they're just seeing it as a cash grab. I.e., I'm going to infiltrate this area and then make it the way I want it to.
Yeah.
Alfaria says, a 10-hour stream. Man, I would need a lot of motivation to do it.
By motivation, he means hard drugs.
Yes, cocaine.
I need cocaine. I need a
cocaine,
lot of it.
Where's Cocaine what is it, Mitch McConnell? Cocaine McConnell?
Yeah, just get Mitch up in here. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, we need him. We'll adjust scare factors for weenies, aka make sure pussies don't get a heckin' fright. Well, I did kind of read this article, but we can kind of bloober team. That's what it's called.
So worried about scaring people playing a horror game.
Well, we can get into it, but like,
go ahead. I'm sorry. It just sounds stupider. The more I think about it, the stupider it sounds. I'm not trying to cut you off.
No. That's like, no. Believe me. Cut me off, because people don't realize how much I hold back. Like, I'm probably holding back a good 80% of what I really want to say. Just keep that in mind, like, the entire time. I'm sure one day I will probably go 100% unleashed, and it will not be a nice sight to see. Because
someday I'll say all the words, and you'll have to hear them.
Callisto Protocol's been a fun horror so far, says OniLink. I haven't. Oh, that one sounds familiar. But in any case, did you ever play any of the Silent Hills, Joe?
No, I mean, I hung around some of my friends when they would be playing it, and it did look spooky AF, but no, I've never played them.
As we read this, I just want to say this. So, Silent Hill is all about psychological horror, not boo scary sort of thing. There's a lot of gore and stuff. There's some gore into it, but gore isn't the main focus. It's the psychological mind fuckery. Keep that in mind as we read this. Made by the original Dead Space people under their new studios. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so Blooper Team has shared small hints about what can be expected for the remake. So Chief Marketing Officer Anna Jasinska. Oh, well, there's your problem right there.
It's old Jismska.
Jismska.
She's up to her old tricks again.
Well, there's the problem. You made a woman a chief marketing officer. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's right, actually. That is problem one. Let a woman do anything.
Okay, so she apparently talked up the developers' two games currently in the works, Layers of Fear and the Silent Hill 2 remake. She was asked about how the team came to be the ones taking on the mantle of remaking such an influential game. The fact that we're developing a Silent Hill game is an honor and a dream come true. Silent Hill 2 is a classic that shaped how our studio works on psychological horrors. Anna, I'm gonna remember you saying that, because when this game possibly fucking bombs, then I'm gonna ask you what made you declare that you were fans of the original series. Because right away, well, here's just the thing. I'll just say it right now. Anytime a developer studio says modern audience, contemporary audiences, made for current audience, they're not fans, and they have no idea what the hell they're doing. So there you go.
That's code for my liberal friends.
Yep. She added, the idea of working on this project stalked us for many years. X to down on that. And in 2019, we received an invitation from Konami to participate in the Tokyo Game Show. To our delight, Konami asked us to prepare a concept for a remake of the original game's second installment in exchange for the opportunity of bringing the concept to life. What?
We told them we couldn't wait to fuck up their fine product, and we would get on it immediately.
Loki says, agree, Greg. Vic played as James in Silent Hill 2 fan film. I didn't know that. I did look it up, and yeah, he actually does look a lot like James. That's crazy. The only thing she honors is her money, her used up pussy and ass. Oh my gosh, Chaos. Dear Lord. Oh, that got me
God
good.
bless you, Chaos, dude. You say
That got me good. All right. Take another sip of Jeffers Creek and Cola.
it's like back to my liquor.
Yeah. While she couldn't give more details due to the game still being in the middle of development, Jasinska did talk up their approach to recreating the classic horror game. Longtime fans shouldn't worry about us missing the point while we're livening up the title. You should not have to declare that fans shouldn't worry about the remake. That, again, is another fucking red flag.
Red flag, yeah.
If I'm confident in my work, I don't need to state that fans shouldn't worry about what it could possibly end up being. Oh my gosh.
Okay, don't worry, we promise it won't suck. It's like, where have I heard that before? For
Yeah.
the last 7 or 8 years straight, all over the place. Every time something's gonna suck. That's where I've heard it.
She goes on by saying, that's me clearing my throat, but it is also probably what she did as well.
Yeah.
We faithfully stick to the traditional story canon, okay, while remaking the gameplay and updating the graphics from the ground up. Now, I've heard, like, Melanie Mack and other people pointing this out, and I do agree. Why is the gameplay... Why does the gameplay always take, like, the lesser... is on the lower end of the spectrum? On the totem pole. I get it. Not everyone enjoys... Well, I don't think Silent Hill 2 used tank controls. Wasn't that bad. I never complained about the controls back in Silent Hill 2. But there is this thing of, like, the gameplay being the last thing on their minds. Like, it's literally like just a reskinning, which...
Yeah.
I don't doubt rebuilding the graphics from the ground up is an easy task, but then again, I also can counterpoint that argument by declaring of all the fan people who just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna remake." Like, there was one guy who was literally rebuilding with the Unreal Engine Metal Gear Solid 1, and not using, like, Twin Snakes. Like, he just remade it, and they told him to stop it because it actually looked fucking good.
Hey, stop doing something cool and worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
You jerk.
LOL, be like the Zelda remakes masters. They just get announced, released, and they're great. Exactly. I enjoyed Link's Awakening remake, and I own both of them. Both the DX version and Reawakening. They're great games. It's nice, and the style was actually a little cool. Now, I think Nintendo would honestly strike gold if they literally made, like, a new Legend of Zelda, like a Link to the Past.
Yeah.
But upgrade it to that, like, what is it, 2.5D that they declare, where it's like you have 3D elements, but a lot of it's still 2D. Like,
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if they did something like that, it would sell like that, because that's what everyone says. I want the game to go back to the overhead, but they don't want to do it. So, anyway, yeah, it stated, "Don't worry about us missing the point," which means, oh, we probably did something to change it. We faithfully stick to the traditional story canon while remaking the gameplay and updating the graphics. Updating the graphics to me is no big news anymore, because it's happening all the time. Having to go out of your way to say you're sticking to the story. I already know one scene. I guarantee you they're going to change. In the original series, Pyramid Head, when James first comes across him, Pyramid Head is banging one of the weird nurse ladies. One of these like there's these legs, and then there's like 2 other legs on top of it. He's like banging one of them.
Oh,
I
Lord.
fucking guarantee you they're gonna change that.
Well, it might scare somebody, dude. Do you want to
Fuck
scare
'em.
people with a horror game?
Yes, fuck them.
What? But they might get scared and pee their pants. This is
this
the real
is
world.
gonna be a point that I'll bring up later. I just want to see what else they say. As you see, we are not straying away from the original concept of making this cult classic. We just have some ideas on how to make the peculiar scare factors more appealing to the contemporary audience. No one asked you to fucking fix some peculiar scare factors. Loki says they definitely will censor that. I guarantee you they will. In fact, they might have. I think they actually, in one of the trailers, it's that scene that shows Pyramid Head. Even Pyramid Head got changed. His design's different.
This lady's like, my female therapist said I should just change the game.
Chaos, can these people die a mysterious death, please?
They will eventually. I'm sure they're all vaxxed. You just gotta give it a little time.
Yep. So far, the change made for the contemporary audience primarily seems to be targeting towards gameplay, states niche gamer. Well, I'll just say this right now. I've got a sneaking suspicion what they're going to do is and this is what I was saying, Joe, on remembering that Silent Hill is about more of the psychological horror element, to where when you're looking around the environment, you're on edge, you're terrified, because Silent Hill is a mystical entity that, depending on who it traps inside of it, uses the main character's mind and psyche to project itself and make it into a real life, into what it is. So it's the person's psychological trauma, whatever it may be, and Silent Hill manifests itself to become that sort of thing. I guarantee you they're going to be changing a lot of that to make it into some cheap jump scare bullshit, which is not what Silent Hill is all about.
Is there a Silent Hill for the Oculus? Is that in their realm of games? Yeah, I don't know much about Oculus. I just think in my head, imagine if they get that technology to the point where the AI in the game can generate your trauma into a game.
Amazing.
And now you're playing Silent Hill, but like real life Silent Hill, where it's creating things right out of your brain.
So I don't think a Silent Hill game has been made like that. I do know for a fact the Resident Evil 7 game was made for virtual reality, and that game was like, people literally could only play it for like an hour, and they had to take it off because it was so unsettling to them. But that game used a lot of gross elements to this.
Yeah.
Silent Hill has gross elements to it, but it's more of the fact of like, you learn information that doesn't really even maintain to the story. Like, you'll find newspaper clippings of someone doing something like insanely like disturbing and stuff, but it has nothing to do with the main story. But it heightens that nervousness of being inside Silent Hill, to where you just want to plow through it as quick as possible and avoid all the enemies to get back to the normal world.
They're going to scare the shit out of you.
What's up?
It's like, because you know they're going to scare the shit out of you. It's like, okay,
yeah, but
my heart can only take so much more of this.
But it doesn't revolve around jump scares, is what I'm saying, which a lot of games are doing the cheap jump scare sort of thing. Like, the scariness is you just looking in the distance and seeing some weird, disturbed, deformed figure and going, shit, I have to like go to where that person is.
Well, back to Evangelion and things like that, that's 90% of why I love certain entertainment, because it makes me, it's kind of like the movie Eraserhead by David Lynch. It makes you super uncomfortable because of sounds, because of the way something looks. It's not always the gore stuff in it that gets you.
That's exactly what Silent Hill is. And I have a sneaking suspicion the way this is wording it is that's what they're going to do, is they're going to downplay that, which is the complete opposite and what made Silent Hill Silent Hill. is that
It
disturbing.
sounds like that's everything that made Silent Hill Silent Hill.
Oh yeah, dude, it's insane. My roommate was telling me at one point there's like these like creepy looking dogs, like hounds.
Yeah.
And I don't think the studios could get away with it, but he was saying way back in the day, the sounds that they used when you kill one of the dogs, they actually recorded, like one of the sound engineers, like I think actually he had a dog who was on its dying breath, and he actually recorded the sound of his dog making that whimpering noise and used it
Wow.
in the game. Yeah.
That'd be a little tough.
Says, later, gents, my bed is screaming my name. Yeah. Obviously, I don't want to keep anyone in here. But if I need to compete against Nick and them, we gotta stay.
We gotta compete.
We gotta compete. But it's all good. But I just appreciate you being able to catch the stream, Alfarius. So you have a good night, brother. Take care.
Yeah, have a good one, dude.
So Niche Gamer says, instead of the fixed camera angle seen in the original Silent Hill 2, the game will be more akin to the Resident Evil remakes with an over-the-shoulder view instead. So I don't mind the Resident Evil remakes over-the-shoulder view, but part of the fixed camera angles does play a factor in what makes it creepy as well. Because when you have a limited camera angle, Joe, like you can't.
You don't always know what you're getting into. Yeah.
Exactly. It traps you into going, this is the only thing you can see. You got to deal with it. But with the over the shoulder view, you can just do a 360 and constantly see around. Like some of the newer Silent Hill games, which kind of lack, they incorporated a concept to where you'll be hearing an enemy behind you and they might be chasing you, and you have to, like, every now and then run, and there's a feature where you look behind to see what's chasing you, sort of thing.
Which that sounds like that would add to the spook factor tremendously,
it adds,
obviously.
Yeah. So when it comes to story elements, Jazinska wouldn't say, as they still remain secret detail. Oh, specifically for the story elements? I wonder why they couldn't say anything. Like the famous Pyramid Head kitchen scene? Yep, that's the one I was talking about. Though she does say Bloober team are taking a, quote, safe approach to any changes, and that they'll apply adjustments to certain areas that need modernizing due to the passage of time. No, you don't!
Passage of time. No, that just denigrates what it was in the first place. Why, we don't change World War II documentaries because they make us uncomfortable because of the passage of time.
Exactly. This makes no sense. This makes no sense.
This is really a press release to let everyone know they're gonna fuck it up. That's what this actually is. We're just letting y'all know, like,
pretty much, yeah.
We're saying we're not going to, but we're going to.
You can trust us, guys. You can trust us. Don't worry, it's in good hands. You know what an actual good company would do? They wouldn't even make retarded comments about, we updated it for the modern audiences.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be a talking point.
They would say, like, yeah, we took, we did our research. We looked back into what people had problems with when the game first came out. And we are taking it to this approach, and we know it'll be a good success, and we hope that the fans enjoy it. That's how you sell a game.
Yeah.
You don't fucking say we made it for contemporary audiences.
We made it unenjoyable for everybody now.
Design flaw in PlayStation 5 could kill console if used vertically. That's funny. Technically, I actually do have the funds. I could get a PlayStation 5. I would only get
my wife needs my help with the kids. I'm gonna dip on out of here. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're ready to go?
I just got a message from her, so I'm gonna go see what's up.
No. That's good. That's
But
perfectly
thanks for
fine.
having me. I appreciate it, and
Mhm.
we'll talk again soon. I'm trying to get some stuff prepped, even if I'm just in the chat for your big interview to come. So,
Oh yeah, I have no problem stating that for now. For anyone new, so not this Saturday, but next Saturday, I have been blessed to have Gary Wayne to interview on the show. And for people who may not know who Gary Wayne is, that is the writer of the Genesis 6 conspiracy. So this big book that I've been bringing up every now and then. If you guys are people of faith, want to kind of understand the more supernatural elements of the Bible and how through the Bible you can kind of creepily learn from the different cultures and stuff how everything can be reconnected conspiratorially wise through the Genesis 6 conspiracy. Gary Waynes is the author. The guy did like ridiculous research of cultures talking about the supernatural elements of like Nephilim, aliens, the blackheads, Greek mythology, fairies, and all that stuff. So we do have the schedule with Gary. It's going to be next Saturday, not tomorrow, January 14th, 6 p.m. Central Time. I'll keep making more announcements about it, but I'm super stoked. And if anyone has any questions that they want to ask him when he comes on, feel free to obviously join the show and comment, and we'll get Gary on to hopefully answer the questions.
yes. All right. Hey, gang, check out Death.
Yes.
And thank you, Greg, for having me. Thank
Oh
you,
yeah, of
chat, for
course.
listening to me complain about sports for a minute.
Oh, you
and,
know me. I always enjoy seeing you get salty. This channel has become just seeing people get salty, even though I'm like trying to be like, yeah, let's find stuff we love, but whatever.
But I'm so pissed at everything I love. All right, you guys take it easy. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, not a problem. Later, Joe.
Later, brother.
Take care.
Yep.
All right, guys. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and we'll wrap up on the show right on your birthday. Well, I'm sorry, because the dates that Gary gave me, I wanted to book it as quick as possible. I'm really trying to get into more of like, if you have something good, do it right then and there. Only Link says stuff we love, like Greg versus turrets, Nashers, and gears. Dude, fuck that mission. That was not normal. I could get through it, no lickety split. But dude, I can't imagine what it's like on Insane. Oh my gosh. But now that we can kind of cheat through the pillars, we can get through that too. But yes, Gary Wayne has been scheduled for an interview, so I'm super excited to share that, guys, with you. Oh, Chaos Smash is not complaining about the schedule. Oh, I'm just stating. I'm really trying to get into what, obviously, when it comes to like booking guests and having people on the show, take that plunge and just try to schedule it as quick as possible. But yes, super excited for Gary to be on the show. Obviously, gonna tone down the swearing and that sort of stuff. Because Gary, I've watched other interviews with Gary, and he is just a man full of knowledge. It is insane. So I cannot wait to hear him talk about his research in making the book, and obviously get to know Gary about stuff he enjoyed and he enjoys currently. Music or videos or whatnot. So it's all good. Gary, glad my joke really made you funny. Oh, really made you laugh? I mean, dude, you went ham on that. Believe me, guys, like I laugh on a lot on a lot of stuff, man. You gotta, but there's always that one that just gets you really really good in the gut sort of thing. But also, I will also state, I did reach out to Vic and I did get a response. So hopefully something in the future will be scheduled soon. I don't know when, but I did get a hold of Vic and we did talk for a little bit. So hopefully things will get ironed out here, and hopefully we'll have Vic on the show soon. Chaos Smash says, "Woo! Yep. I know with Vic, his repeal or his appeal to the Texas Supreme Court got rejected. So an unfortunate time. It seems the devil's really going up against Vic. So obviously that's an unfortunate thing, but as we can tell, Vic is just plowing through everything. Still getting conventions, started his own dubbing studio and whatnot. But yep, hopefully we'll be getting Vic on soon, so I'll keep you guys abreast of that. But yeah, he's still going places, so I'm happy for that. Exactly. Someone a long time ago said it, and I'm sure multiple people have said it in a different way, shape, or form. But the fact that Vic was able to fight back and at least said, no, I want my chance to explain myself in court, and he had the support to do it, that's ultimately all that mattered. And what came from that is the truth of what happens behind the scenes, is that there are scum, there are cowards, and there are genuine people in the industry, and the Vic situation showed exactly how the industry is, and it shined a light on it. And no matter what anyone says, we got to see exactly the facade that the industry was putting up, to which in the end, if they just actually stuck to what they care about, and that was the craft and anime, none of this would have happened. But they had to make a point. So unfortunately, it is what it is. Obviously, all we can do now is just keep going forward and whatnot, and but yeah, we'll be reaching out to Vic again and seeing if we can establish something here. But yep, I have been talking with Vic, so looking forward to the future to hopefully book him on the show and kind of more so hear about the things he enjoys, what he grew up with. Obviously, we know he loves Star Trek, but obviously my goal is to want to hear Vic's observations of the industry from the past, because like what Doug Naples said, the video game industry is not what it was today, and the people who are hijacking it were gatekeeped out because they saw that it could change and destroy everything. And I'm curious to hear Vic's thoughts on what happened in his journey throughout the industry, and seeing it how it changed, seeing how seeing about his love for entertainment, and what media that came in, and not so much talk about the cancellation per se. I want to hear what Mr. Frosttips has to say. Yeah, not so much hear about the story, because we've heard it enough. But definitely want to hear about how his faith in Christ, and how his faith has hopefully gotten stronger, and just get to know him. All right, so I'm dipping. So thanks for the support, you guys. Take care. Thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you. I should be on tomorrow. We'll be continuing Gears, getting those headshots in, and yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Chaos. No, we're not bald. We're balding. So very rude. Stop that, Chaos. You will be banned forever. Yes. But all right, I'll catch you guys later. You guys have a good rest of your night. Thanks for the support. Adios. Take care.